In a gloomy room, the head of the family, Grand Duke Frazier, sits solemnly on his throne with his close attendant. Standing by his side, looking into his eyes, many feel terrified because they are so cold and cruel. A voice suddenly rings out in the hall. "Lady Chalia, please. Pay your respects to His Grace the Grand Duke." Following those words, Chalia slowly walks toward Grand Duke Frazier. Everyone present falls silent. Not a single person dares to utter a word. Chalia approaches him, her voice soft but laced with a trace of fear. "It has been a long time. I greet you, Your Grace." Ice-cold hair, the sharp, venomous eyes of a wild beast devoid of mercy. Grand Duke Frazier sees. "Frazier, this man is." Along with that thought, she gently lifts the hem of her dress and curtsies. "I wish you good health, grandfather." Chalia's gaze slowly shifts toward Grand Duke Frazier, who sits above. "Today, in front of this man, I must beg to survive." Seeing that Assis shows no further reaction, she continues, "Your granddaughter, Chalia Fraser, has something to address you today." "Grandfather, my heart is ready." Hearing her words, the maid standing nearby shudders slightly and whispers, "My lady." Chalia pays absolutely no attention to her, only thinking, "I will kneel and beg like a corpse if I must." A few seconds later, she prepares to say what she needs to say. "What I want to say is that I only wish to continue breathing." Seeing Chalia hesitate, Assis slowly raises his finger. In that instant, Chalia summons all the courage she has and shouts across the hall, "Do you think just living well and eating delicious food is enough?" As her words end, the hall falls into a dead silence, so quiet that no one dares to breathe heavily. A strange sound suddenly comes from the Grand Duke's direction. Chalia's eyes widen in shock, and even the nearby servants freeze up. Everyone plunges into a sensation of being completely frozen. A few seconds later, as she gradually recovers her senses, Chalia thinks in a panic, What is this? What on earth did I just say?" At that moment, a notification screen instantly pops up. "System, reputation warning, reputation has dropped to a dangerous level." Seeing that notification, Chalia's face turns pale. What? A few seconds later, the system panel sends her away to handle the current situation. System, personality penalty tip. You can only speak words that make the person facing you feel extreme malice. Chalia thinks blankly. Personality penalty. Grand Duke Frazier's voice rings out, making her body tremble more violently than ever before. "Chalia Fraser, do you think just living well and eating delicious food is enough? Are you mocking me now?" She freezes for a long moment, unable to utter a single word, only thinking, "What? I am Chalia Fraser. How can I survive this nightmare level? I transmigrated into this game, the game I played for so many years, the game that became a sensation as soon as it launched, and in that game, the main villain is Chalia Fraser. Chalia is very beautiful, but her personality is rotten to a disgusting degree. She always bullies and insults the female lead, Koriko, who is engaged to the Duke's heir. A typical villain, arrogant, selfish, self-complacent, and full of contempt. Chalia is the type of character who never changes, committing evil until the very end. No matter which route she takes, she only has a bloody end, straight to hell. The queen of bad endings. Thinking about this, the person who transmigrated into Chalia's body, her current self, angrily bites down on the hard piece of bread in her hand. Chalia reflects dejectedly, but why, of all the selectable characters, does it have to be this trash? Seriously, even though she is the daughter of a marquis, Chalia now lives worse than a beggar, eating this dry, hard bread. System HP-1. At this point, dying in my past life would have been better, though my past life wasn't any better, just a total mess. After her mother and stepfather passed away at their very funeral, her stepbrothers harshly cursed her. "Hana, if you run away, you are dead." She was forced by her stepbrothers to marry some strange men. And then, one day, she met with a car accident and became Chalia in this game. That is the situation. If this continues, I will freeze or starve to death. The daughter of a marquis? What on earth is her father doing? Chalia's mother ran away with another man and died in an accident. After that, Marquis Frazier left the territory, heading to the borderlands because he hated everything and hasn't bothered to show up for so many years. So this is the birthday gift mentioned in the game. Does he think just sending a painting fulfills his duty as a father? Not a single happy birthday or I love you In my past life, after my mother remarried, I lived quietly in my stepfather's house, taking care of myself. Perhaps Chalia also lived like that, with no one caring even if she had to starve on the streets for 7 days. But I cannot live like this forever. I don't want to die again. I must find a way to survive. As she thinks this, the notification panel appears before her eyes. At first, Chalia is still a bit confused, not understanding what is happening. What is that? But text gradually appears on the system panel. System, Chalia Fraser overall rank, F main quest activated. You are trash, poor, unlucky, and hated by everyone. Except for one person, no one loves you. Goal, reach rank A before the real one. Appears, after reading those words, Chalia's eyes widen in shock. What is this? This quest window is exactly like the one in the game. Why did the lady give bread to the handsome man? She suddenly flinches as she realizes part of the problem. Chalia angrily asks the system panel, *trash, me, and this is a quest. Don't tell me this game is actually making me upgrade Chalia. Stats, personality, skills, assets -9, luck 0. Overall rank F with such miserable stats. The real one must be Koriko. I don't know what point this is in the plot, but there probably isn't much time left before Koriko appears. To have to reach rank A impossible. Ihana, a longtime player of WDLGB, died in an accident. The system panel continues to display system, and if you fail, and now I've possessed a villain called Trash by the entire world. Once again, while Chalia is still lost in thought, an extremely terrifying word appears on the system panel. System, death. She instantly freezes, a mixture of shock and fear clearly visible on her face. Are you kidding me? I'm going to die. The system panel continues to repeat the text. System, you are trash, Chalia Fraser. Before the real one appears, you must reach rank A and survive. If you fail, death. Facing this notification, Chalia is completely stunned. No way, impossible. How can I survive with stats this terrible? At least asterisk. Koriko starts at mid-tier. Koriko overall rank C. Unless you are aiming for a hidden ending, there is no reason to subject yourself to this hell difficulty. But starting from F is no different from telling me to go die. Wait, let me organize my thoughts. What I need to do now is raise all stats to rank A. Since I don't know when the female lead, Koriko, will appear, I must reach the rank as quickly as possible. Yeah, what's so impossible about that? I am a resilient Korean who took care of herself and got into a good school. Then let's start by finding what I can do. For example, finding an assistant who can help me. Who is that? No one is allowed to come here right now. Seeing the entrance door of the room rattling more and more violently, Chalia wonders in confusion who. Just a second later, her cousin flings the door open and shouts, "Hey, a great person is here and you don't even come out to greet me." Seeing him, her entire body freezes for a moment. What? Tedrick? He is Chalia's cousin. Why did he come all the way here? Chalia's father, the younger brother of Marquis Fraser, is Viscount Lilius, and Lilius's son is Tedrick. Tedrick and Chalia are like cats and dogs. Since Tedrick is not the direct heir but belongs to a branch family, he is always jealous of Chalia, the direct descendant of the lineage, and often causes trouble for her. On the other hand, he is incredibly kind to Koriko and always stands by her side like an angelic character. But right now, Koriko is not here, so why is he looking for me? After receiving no response from Chalia for a while, he pompously covers his face. A mocking tone echoes throughout the room. Ah, what a pathetic smell. Is this really a place where humans live? The stench is giving me a headache. Hearing this, she is furious but only curses silently. In her mind, this bastard, Chalia's reaction makes Tedrick even more excited to tease her. If you live so miserably, why do you still act cool at the banquet? It's true that your father abandoned you, so what's so strange about being disappointed? That is why grandfather put you under indefinite house arrest. How shameful, truly shameful. Chalia uncomfortably clenches her hanging fists. Tens of thousands of curses flood her thoughts. That bastard. Of all things, you dare to touch a sore spot of mine. Because of something like this, I remember why Chalia became a villain. It's because of people like him. When playing as Koriko, I didn't realize it. Because all the members of the Fraser family around Koriko, except for Chalia, are good people, but now that I am in Chalia's position, living a life of humiliation and mistreatment for being an abandoned girl, who wouldn't become bitter after such an experience? Honestly, Chalia's actions are almost justified. Can the protagonist's buff really empower trash like this? At this moment, Tedric feels extremely irritated that she just stares at him in silence. Why do you keep looking at me with those empty eyes? Lower your eyes, you beggar. Following his words, Chalia still only responds with the silence that envelops the entire room. She slowly reaches for the fork on the table. People like him are the real obstacle to change. For a thug like him, a beating is the only answer. Seeing Chalia suddenly pick up the fork and step close to him, Tedric instantly falls into a state of panic, his face turning pale and his voice stuttering. What are you trying to do? Chalia remains silent, staring at the man who is frozen in fear before her. Does he really think I'm going to stab him? Chalia stabbed the back of his hand with a fork before, didn't she? It seems that memory is still deeply engraved. I want to stab him again, but since personality is now a part of my stats, it's not a wise choice at all. I must wait a bit longer. Tedric's appearance means that person will also arrive. Suddenly realizing that she doesn't seem to want to make a move anymore, he prepares to mock her again. What? Have you finally realized your place? Yeah, no matter how hard you try, you are just a bastard born from an affair between your mother and that savage priest. Although not a single word coming from Tedric's mouth is worth listening to, Chalia still has to calm herself down. Endure it, Hana, hold it in a bit more, just a little bit longer. At this moment, Tedric's father suddenly appears behind him and yells, Tedric Frazier, is that how you speak to your cousin? Seeing that man, she quickly realizes he has arrived. Tedric's father, Viscount Lilius. The sudden appearance of his father catches him off guard. Father, but she tried to stab me with a fork first. Chalia is slightly taken aback, glancing at his facial expression. I knew Lilius would come because Tedric always follows him, but why does he look so angry? But beyond what she can imagine, Viscount Lilius bluntly delivers a stinging slap to his son's face, along with a scolding. Do you know how preciously your mother raised you? How dare you lower yourself to a lowlife like her? Hearing these words from Viscount Lilius, her eyes involuntarily widen in surprise. This is an unexpected development. He calls out again, Tedric Fraser. After that slap, he cries out in a panic, yes. Viscount Lilius warns his son in a stern voice. Soon, Grand Duke Frazier, your grandfather, will arrive. If he hears what you said, I, and your mother will all die, so shut your mouth. This warning makes Tedric carefully probe, Grandfather. Is he coming to this lowly place so suddenly? Viscount Lilius calmly explains, because of the Fraser banquet. Hearing him mention that, Chalia suddenly remembers some extremely important details in the plot. He just said the Fraser banquet? The Fraser banquet, a grand party where all members of the Fraser family gather. But the banquet is supposed to be held at the Grand Duke's main castle. So why is the Grand Duke visiting Rental Castle where Chalia lives? Moreover, the Grand Duke has never visited Chalia before. Having said that, Viscount Lilius suddenly turns to look at her with a face full of joy and warmth. Watch your words, Tedric, and Chalia too, I have this for you. As soon as she witnesses the splendid evening gown and the luxurious box he brought, Chalia gasps in her mind. In surprise, this is a dress. Viscount Lilius carefully instructs her, wear this to the banquet, the Grand Duke hates sloppy appearances. Chalia listens to what he says while closely observing. That evening gown, even at a glance, is extremely expensive. Why did he gift something like this to Chalia? As if understanding her inner anxiety, he gently places his hand on Chalia's shoulder to reassure her. Don't worry, this is not a meaningless gift. Father, you will return all of it later anyway. But you also know your uncle's situation is not very good right now, don't you? I saw the land deed of Ellerin in your name. Shall we use that as collateral? Then, how many items can I buy? As I like for you? These words seem very nice at first glance, but Chalia only feels nauseous at the fake appearance of Viscount Lilius. Of course, this filthy thief. In the game, Chalia believed Lilius's words and borrowed a huge sum, but her father, Marquis Fraser, did not care about her at all. Then, Lilius turned his back on Chalia, leaving her buried under a mountain of debt. Even so, Chalia still placed her hopes on her father, Marquis Fraser, thinking, he cares about me at least, right? He will save me from this mountain of debt. But I know the truth. No one cares about poor Chalia. If I accept this, I will reach rank A only to fall straight into a bankruptcy ending. I must prevent that at all costs. I once thought of using Lilius as an ally, but someone who only wants to exploit me cannot be trusted at all. So instead, the one who is arriving now is the official Grand Duke Frazier. If there is anyone who does not need to use Chalia, he might be much better than Lilius. Yes, it's decided. I will aim for Grand Duke Frazier. But the moment of panic during the fear banquet pulls her back to reality, along with Assiz's reply. Are you saying to me right now that you can live happily alone? Upon receiving his question, Chalia's breathing gradually becomes difficult. Did I just make a wrong move? I never imagined he looks like this. What is happening now? Only Grand Duke Frazier can release me from house arrest at this moment. That is why I prepared myself mentally for everything that is to come. I will win the Grand Duke's favorability and beg him to spare me. But why, up until the crucial, decisive moment, do the words coming out of Chalia's mouth not match her previous thoughts at all? Do you think you can live happily alone like that? Right after saying those words, Chalia immediately covers her mouth with her hands to stop herself from saying worse things. What on earth did those words just come out of my mouth? Right in front of her eyes at this moment is Grand Duke Frazier, clearing his throat and throwing a furious tantrum. Chalia Fraser, are you speaking to me? Chalia's body begins to tremble with every beat since that question. No, I only intend to beg him to cancel the house arrest. Not like that at all. Is that the sound of a status window? What is this again? The system panel quickly pops up with notifications. System warning, due to an extremely low personality stat, you will only say things that anger others the most. System warning, your reputation will plummet to a dangerous level. After reading these few lines, Chalia's mood becomes more panicked than ever. What is this? Wait, you mean I made a slip of the tongue because of that personality stat? Ridiculous. I knew it was bad, but not to the point where I can't even say a decent sentence. This is even worse than dealing with the lone shark Lilius, or when I pleaded with the Marquis, who is more of a stranger. Than a stranger, I am falling into a situation even worse than I imagined. But I know exactly how to please the Grand Duke. When playing as Corico, the Grand Duke quickly became a loving father-in-law. Is the difference between rank C and rank F really that huge? I must find a way to escape this quickly. Huh, what is this again? Did some kind of bar just appear above the Grand Duke's head? It is gradually turning red. It is really turning red. In the game, a status bar turning red is never a good sign. Patience/wrath. Don't tell me I get a bad ending if it fills up. No, I cannot die like this. I will not die helplessly like in my past life. After all, this is Corico's world. I don't need a beautiful story like hers. My goal is to reach rank A to live a wealthy and comfortable life. To wake up in a warm mansion, eat decent meals, all in a garden filled with flowers, and read an interesting book every day. All I want is just a normal, peaceful life. To do that, I must first get rid of this damn thing. I must survive at all costs. If I open my mouth without thinking, it might make things even worse. First, I must find a way to remove this personality penalty. Without a specific command, it probably can't be turned off through actions. Should I try to increase my personality stat? Wait, I can increase it now. Just as she is thinking about this, the system panel appears. System, you can increase your stats using your current coins, current 1,000 coins. Seeing the number clearly displayed on the system panel, Chalia is slightly dazed. She continues to think, what? Use coins to increase stats. When playing as Corico, this function did not exist, and that warning does not sound good at all. System, warning, once confirmed, this action cannot be undone. Whatever, don't think too much. Survival is more important. Increase it. After receiving her command, the system begins to use coins to upgrade the stat. System, personality stat -6, used 50 coins. Personality stat -4, used 100 coins. Personality stat -1, all coins have been used. System, personality stat 0, personality penalty removed, offensive speech deactivated. She happily thinks to herself, I did it. At this moment, Grand Duke Frazier can no longer suppress his emotions. He angrily clenches his hands on the armrest of his chair. Chalia, you really? Before he can finish, she immediately drops to her knees on the ground and respectfully cries out, Grandfather. Chalia's extremely unexpected action leaves Grand Duke Frazier speechless in shock. All the people present here, including the Viscount father and son, as well as Lilius, have never imagined such a scenario. Chalia pays absolutely no mind to the atmosphere spreading around. She only focuses on presenting her purpose as fast as possible before Grand Duke Frazier can do anything to her. The budget allocated to me is too small, so much so that all the servants in the castle are starving. As their master, I cannot. Just stand by and watch. You might think the budget shortage is due to my lavish spending, but I swear on my honor that it is not like that. If needed, I will not get married, so please advance my dowry to me. With that money, I will pay off my debt to Uncle Lilius first. Then, as if afraid she would reveal that he lent Chalia money with interest, Viscount Lilius quickly rushes over and covers her mouth in front of everyone. Chalia, how dare you be so insolent in front of the Grand Duke, speaking lies as if they are truths? You are indeed a sinful child. The threat in his sharp eyes makes Chalia slightly puzzled. What? Viscount Lilius continues to restrain her and respectfully speaks to Grand Duke Frazier. Father, I deeply apologize. Chalia is used to behaving like a wild horse. It is my fault for not controlling her. Annoyed, she repeatedly struggles to break free from his grip. No, it's not a lie. Grand Duke, please listen to me. If this continues, that gate will fill up completely. Oh, my future of reaching rank A, living a comfortable life and retiring peacefully, a small but noble dream of no longer worrying about money. At this moment, Assiz's slightly softened voice suddenly rings out, ordering Viscount Lilius, let her go. Hearing his demand, Chalia is slightly stunned, thinking, did he listen to my words? Viscount Lilius naturally does not want to comply with his words at all. But Chalia, Grand Duke Frazier loses his patience slightly and glares at him. I said let her go. Right then, she subconsciously notices the gauge is gradually fading. Did it work? Flustered, Viscount Lilius complies with his order. Yes, father, I apologize. Once Chalia is released, Assiz speaks to her. Chalia, continue. She freezes for a moment, then quickly regains her innate composure. But why does the Grand Duke suddenly listen to what Chalia says? I don't know the reason, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Thinking this, Chalia immediately kneels flat on the ground and honestly speaks the whole truth. Thank you, grandfather. To continue, I will use my dowry to pay my debt to Uncle Lilius and live as quietly as if I were dead. And not just me, I will take good care of all the servants in Jandal Castle and maintain my dignity and honor. Furthermore, if you can be more generous, could you lift the indefinite house arrest placed on me? I beg you, grandfather. After her extremely earnest plea, the atmosphere becomes dead silent. Chalia thinks in a panic. Why is it so quiet? Did I say something wrong again? Is this not an opportunity, but an excuse for the Grand Duke to punish me? In the next seconds, Grand Duke Frazier suddenly calls Lilius's name. He startles and walks toward Assiz. He asks sternly, weren't the domestic affairs of the children entrusted to you and your wife? Lilius bows his head to the ground and answers, yes, father. Indeed, Grand Duke Frazier speaks in a low, harsh voice, his eyes filled with a chilling coldness. Then why is Chalia still under house arrest from 3 years ago? Furthermore, why does she think that a 1-month house arrest is indefinite? Is this the doing of you and your wife? At that very moment, Chalia seems to wake up. Regarding this house arrest, she never thought it could be so unexpected. What were his words lies? The words Tedric said to her back then begin to pop up in Chalia's thoughts. Why did you cause such a scene at the banquet? The truth is, father abandoned you, so what is there to be angry about? That's why grandfather placed you under indefinite house arrest. Not indefinite, but only for 1 month. She received the house arrest order 3 years ago, and it still continues until now, that very imprisonment. Order made Chalia, who is already suffering from deprivation, miserably dependent on Lilius. Is all of it just lies from Lilius and his family? Under his interrogation, Lilius's body trembles continuously. There seems to have been a misunderstanding, father. Grand Duke Frazier asks again, then is it also a misunderstanding that Chalia Fraser thinks this storehouse is Jandal Castle? Stuttering, he opens his mouth to reply while trying to find an excuse. That is. Assiz immediately cuts him off. Your wife, right? You said Chalia is still wild. Even when her house arrest ended, she still insisted on living in the storehouse, crying and making trouble. Each word spoken by Grand Duke Frazier acts as a powerful awakening for her. This place is not even Jandal Castle. When hearing the news that the Grand Duke is coming here, I thought it was Chalia's castle. Viscount Lilius forces a smile to explain everything to him, then turns to criticize Chalia for having a misunderstanding. Well, neither I nor my wife ever told Chalia this place is Jandal Castle. We also never told her it is an indefinite house arrest. Chalia, why did you misunderstand like that? Who lied to you? Speak up, your uncle will teach them. Lesson, she softly answers Viscount Lilius, her voice mixed with her own thoughts. Is Chalia a villain and trash? Don't make me laugh. Compared to the real trash, Chalia is nothing. Will you really teach them a lesson? Viscount Lilius nods. And continues, of course. Remembering the exact words Tedric said to Chalia not long ago, Chalia feels disgusted yet recites every single word. These trash, I will show them what's what. The stench is so pathetic. Is this a place where humans live? Why did you cause such a scene at the banquet? The truth is, father abandoned you, so what is there to be angry about? That is why grandfather placed you under indefinite house arrest. How pathetic. Yes, you should know your place. No matter how much you struggle, you are just an illegitimate child that your mother gave birth to with that barbarian priest. Knowing exactly where Chalia's words are coming from, Tedric is so terrified that he slips up and curses at her. Are you crazy? You. Before he can finish his sentence, Grand Duke Frazier immediately stands up and yells, Tedric Fraser! In horror, he turns his eyes toward him. Grandfather! Assis roars in anger in the middle of the hall filled with people. Are those the words that just came out of your mouth? He tremblingly explains, no, that is a misunderstanding. Seeing Tedric's extremely cowering posture, Chalia, still kneeling on the ground, suddenly flashes a triumphant smile. Taste the very medicine that you brewed yourself, you actual pieces of trash. Every prestigious noble family has a family heirloom gem. When members of the Fraser family debut in society, they receive an exquisite and expensive pendant. And of course he is no exception. Facing the unprecedented angry face of Grand Duke Frazier, he still tries to salvage the current situation. Grandfather! In just a few seconds, Assis stands right in front of him and calls out, Tedric Fraser! Tedric instinctively raises his hands to cover his face, fearing his punishment. However, Assis does not touch his face at all, only snatching away the expensive gemstone. Having reclaimed the precious item, he furiously orders, From now on, I strip you of the Fraser honor bestowed upon you. Terrified, Tedric widens his eyes, unable to believe what is happening. Grandfather! Having said that, Grand Duke Frazier suddenly turns his gaze toward her. As she is called out by name, Chalia also reflexively flinches slightly. Yes, grandfather, Assis says to her gently, from today on you will live in the main family mansion. Upon receiving his order, she is temporarily unable to process this overwhelming, unexpected joy. Chalia looks up at him in astonishment. I live in the main mansion? After the trip visit from the Grand Duke, many things change. Most notable is the disappearance of the father-son duo, Lilius and Tedric, the ones who previously always sought out Chalia to provoke and start trouble for no reason. Perhaps they choose to temporarily retreat and reflect until the anger of the Grand Duke subsides. Meanwhile, at the main mansion of the Grand Duke Frazier family, Chalia cannot help but marvel in amazement at the wonderful natural scenery here. Wow, is this the Grand Duke's residence? Seeing it in person truly shows how colossal it is. While admiring the mansion's surroundings, she happily murmurs to herself, It seems I have managed to survive in this game world. Not long after, Chalia is escorted to her new room. It is so magnificent and luxurious that she gasps in surprise. Wow, is this really my room? Another person present in the room respectfully answers her. Yes, Lady Chalia. Meanwhile, Chalia happily skips around the room to enjoy her future space. It is so beautiful. Is it really okay for me to stay in such a wonderful room? Luke, the direct assistant of the Grand Duke, bows slightly and replies, Please make yourself comfortable and consider it your own room. Chalia smiles delightedly at him. Thank you. At this moment, she flashes a mischievous smile in her mind, just released from house arrest and already given a room like this. The Grand Duke is truly generous, even assigning his direct assistant. Luke leading me around is already so generous. If only he would give me some more budget. Ending her train of thought, Luke, the assistant, suddenly speaks to inform Chalia, Lady Chalia, there is one more thing I must pass on to you. This is something the head of the family sent to you. Seeing a thick envelope he is slowly taking out, Chalia guesses blankly, From the Grand Duke, since he hasn't fully forgiven me yet, is this a warning letter telling me to behave or something. But contrary to that, Luke's voice rings out immediately after, shattering all of Chalia's thoughts. This is your monthly allowance. Hearing this, she is slightly startled, opens her eyes wide, and then begins to look inside. My allowance. 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion. Seeing the figure clearly displayed on the paper, Chalia screams in disbelief. 1 billion, is this truly my allowance? Luke, the assistant, formally bows and says goodbye to her. Yes, then I shall take my leave. My task is finished. Please rest well, my lady. After he leaves, Chalia is still dazed by the figure just now. 1 billion. He really wrote 1 billion. I am rich. Right then, she turns around and receives a notification from the system panel. System, wealth stat -8 system, wealth stat -6 system, wealth stat -5, reaching. System, wealth stat -1 and system, wealth stat 0. When she sees the number stop there, Chalia looks at the system panel in stunned disbelief. My wealth stat has reached 0. What a relief, however. The subsequent notifications that arrive in rapid succession surprise her even more. System, first-time rank up reward, plus 1000 coins. System, current coins 1000. System, current overall rank F. My rank even went up to F, and wow, I also get a reward of 1000 coins. Which stat should I increase with this reward? Or should I focus on the lowest stats like skills or luck? Or should I just accumulate more financial power? Maybe I should increase my beauty stat since it's already my highest base stat. No, my current state isn't that bad. Increasing beauty won't give me much additional benefit. Just styling my hair gently is enough to make my beauty shine more, right? Maybe if I brush my hair like this. Wait, this isn't right. What is this? Why is my hair brushed into such disaster? Faced with the current situation, a dumbfounded Chalia reads through her character stats again. Unbelievable, is it, because my skills stat is an absolute disaster. No, 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 how can I go anywhere looking like this? Give me back my hair. After a while of brushing frantically, what Chalia gets in return is not much better. Feeling as if she has fallen into a bottomless abyss, she thinks she is doomed. Should I use 1000 coins to increase my skills right now? No, no way, how can I waste 1000 coins on this? Distressed, she tries to find any way to fix the damage. I will wait for a maid asterisk to arrive. Surely she will know what to do, right? But Chalia's eyes suddenly widen when she sees something. It turns out to be a notification from the system. System, received plus 2 coins. Current coins, 1002. She looks up in astonishment at the 2 coins. Chalia mutters in confusion, why give me 2 coins all of a sudden? I only turned my hair into a broom. Speaking of which, it seems she has deduced an extremely important principle. Ah, I see. Now I understand the meaning of earning coins. It means the value of my effort is converted into coins asterisk. Right, a few years ago, Chalia never dared to lift her head to speak to Grand Duke Frazier. Grandfather, I greet you. How is your health? Chalia, the granddaughter who never dared to look straight at him, trembled so hard that she could not speak clearly, filled with nothing but fear and dread. No other emotion could be seen on her face. Yet today, she bluntly shouted in front of him, do you think living well and eating delicious food is all there is to life? This matter indeed makes Grand Duke Frazier ponder. How strange. What is the change in her heart that led to this? Come in. Luke, the assistant, slowly walks inside and reports the situation to Aziz. Apologies for disturbing the family head. As ordered, I have brought Chalia to her room. Receiving these words from Luke, he speaks gently. Very well, thank you for your effort. But it seems he still has something to say, and Aziz, somewhat puzzled, turns his head back. What is it? Luke, the assistant, smiles and presents a gift basket before Grand Duke Frazier. Lady Chalia asked me to deliver this to you. Looking at the gift basket and a jar of jam placed on the table, Aziz asks, Chalia made this? The butler beside him answers softly, yes, my lord. He gently touches the jar of jam, silent and lost in thought, saying nothing. His face shows an unreadable expression, wondering asterisk jam. The elders are right, there is nothing you cannot do if you try. What I realized when brushing my hair. First, I can earn coins regardless of how I put in effort, not just by improving my appearance, but by doing anything that helps me become better than I currently am. Perhaps that's why I earned coins even after brushing my hair. So, what should I do next? The answer is very simple, create something with effort like this homemade jam. The Grand Duke loves homemade gifts in the game, recalling the Grand Duke's image in the game when receiving a homemade gift. System, you have gifted a homemade item. Grand Duke's favorability +5. So, if I keep giving him homemade jam, even if it's clumsy, one day I might gain the asterisk favorability of the Grand Duke. Of course, thanks to my skill debuff, both my hair and the jam I make are disasters. But since it's jam anyway, the Grand Duke will definitely never actually eat it. Still there Will be a limit to earning coins this way. At a time like this, I really need someone to help, but I don't even have a personal maid. It is probably because of Baron Lilius, who manages all household affairs. But if he thinks I will just sit quietly in my room, he is dead wrong. If I walk around the Grand Duke's mansion to deliver jam, the servants will gossip about me. And since Lilius cares about his reputation, he will have to do something to rectify this for me. That kills two birds with one stone. Chalia, with her messy hair and a happy but somewhat silly smile, speaks up. I am counting on you again today. Luke, the butler, asks in slight surprise, Are you making homemade jam again today, my lady? She cheerfully replies, Yes, though grandfather probably won't eat it anyway. The butler's scanning gaze lands on her. It is true that he usually does not pay attention to such gifts, but as Luke stares intently at Chalia's messy, unbrushed hair, he gives a soft cough. Shouldn't we head back to your room soon, my lady? The meeting has ended and people are starting to walk around. Seeing this, Chalia's face brightens as she cheerfully replies to him, All right, I'm heading back. Thank you. As she turns to leave, she smiles slightly upon seeing the servants whispering behind her. The maids look at her messy hair and whisper to each other, Did you see Lady Chalia's hair just now? Yes. Why does it look like it just exploded? The maids huddle together and whisper, Did Baron Lilius really not assign a maid to her? Maybe the rumor is true. What? Rumor, a maid whispers that Baron Lilius is secretly jealous of his older brother. The other maid gasps in surprise, What? And that is why he bullies his own niece? I am telling the truth. Since Lady Chalia arrived here, have you seen any maid enter her room? Now that you mention it, the chatter of the maids reaches the ears of the close maid of Aubrey. Aubrey fans herself and whispers, Chalia. Artedric, HMPH, we adopted that motherless orphan and raised her, yet now she dares to forget her place. This is unacceptable. Go teach her a gentle lesson so she remembers her place. Aubrey Lampfreseer, wife of Baron Lilius, sneers, If she has any sense left, she will get the message. The maid respectfully replies, Yes, milady, just wait, you insolent brat. I will make her regret ever bringing shame to Lord Lilius's name. At dinner time, Lady Chalia hears a knock. Come in, Chalia answers. In front of her is a delicious bowl of vegetable soup. She exclaims, Wow, this looks so good. Thank you, I'll eat now. Chalia happily thinks to herself, just as planned. It seems Lilius also knows how to save face. He finally sent a proper meal. This time a maid even accompanied it. Now I can finally ask her to fix my hair. As Chalia puts a spoonful of soup into her mouth, she is startled when she chews on a strange foreign object. Chalia, horrified, thinks, What is this? Did I just chew on something? What is this? A pebble? The maid standing nearby lets out a snicker. Seeing this, Chalia realizes, it must be that maid's trick. Someone might say she just hates Chalia. Whatever it is, treating the Grand Duke's only granddaughter like this. Should I find out who did it? Suddenly a voice speaks up, startling her. Is something wrong? Chalia sees an elegant woman walk in. The woman is Lilius's wife, Aubrey. What is she doing here? She speaks. I see you are having dinner. I heard my niece has arrived, so I dropped by to check on her. Oh dear, it looks like someone played a dirty trick. Small pebbles lie right next to the soup bowl on the table. Chalia thinks in horror, Don't tell me this is also Lilius's doing. I thought I could endure everything, even when I was only given apples instead of a proper meal, even when I was left alone without even a single servant. No matter how ruthless Lilius is, I still thought I could endure it. But this is just too pathetic. I can't even take them seriously anymore. Aubrey shouts, Chalia. She cannot help but think, What is this? She approaches me after everything they did, and she dares to get angry at me. Are you kidding me? Chalia cannot believe her eyes. Aubrey slaps her close maid hard across the face, shouting, How dare you play such a dirty trick on my precious niece? Aubrey angrily gives her close maid another slap. How dare this creature dare to play tricks on my precious niece? Chalia is completely stunned. What is going on? I was sure she would blame me. Why is she? The maid tries to explain, Milady, I was only, but Aubrey refuses to listen. How dare you speak back so insolently? You must have been so scared, Chalia. Now how should I deal with this maid? As always, I will do as you wish. She seems completely dazed on the spot. She will do as I wish? What? Why the sudden change in attitude? She wouldn't go this far just to show gentle care for her niece. There must be a motive. Let's test the waters first. Thinking this, she speaks carefully. Aunt, you are the manager of all household affairs, so I leave this matter to you. However, I do not wish to see any more violence in this precious room that grandfather gave me, she replies happily. Is that so? Very well. Guards, drag this insolent maid down to the cellar. Two maids quickly run over. Yes, m'lady. Chalia notices something unusual. The cellar. I am certain she is the one Aubrey planted. Why is she throwing her out like that? Aubrey's close maid screams loudly. Wait, m'lady, I have been wronged. I was only following your orders. M'lady, I was only following your orders. M'lady, please save me. She remains. In the room with Chalia, Aubrey knows how to pretend to care for her. I sent her to take care of you, Chalia, yet I never expected her to dare do such a thing. My heart aches so much. Chalia cannot help but worry. She sent her here, and now she is personally kicking her out. What is she scheming? Aubrey has another plot. She speaks. Even so, we cannot leave the maid position vacant. In that case, I will introduce a maid to you. I happen to know a few very talented people. That is the reason she easily discarded the maid, whom she herself sent. Because she is wary of the Grand Duke, she couldn't insert a truly close confidant from the start. She sent someone who could be easily sacrificed to use the excuse that they bullied me. How should I refuse? I can't just simply say no, it is too many things to consider. Aubrey claps her hands to give an order. In that case, bring the candidates for the head maid position in here. I believe these two can serve you very well, so choose one of them as your head maid. Rilda possesses noble blood as her father was once knighted as a baron. Rilda calmly introduces herself. I am Rilda, my lady. Aubrey continues. Odal is quick-witted and sharp. Odal bows slightly. I am Odal, my lady. Aubrey deliberately pressures Chalia. For someone from the borderlands, she is decent enough. She does not help but feel surprised. What is she saying? The borderlands, a place known as the land abandoned by the gods. A vast, desolate land at the far east of the empire. It is like a slum with rumors that it is teeming with heretics and man-eaters in aristocratic circles where a maid's origin is crucial, introducing someone from the borderlands. Is she being too obvious in trying to make me reject her? Rilda is her pawn. Anyone can see that previously, Chalia would have chosen Rilda without hesitation. But if I choose her, my reputation might be affected by my servant, and that will impact my stats. So, what is the best thing to do in this situation? Checking the profile, Chalia becomes excited. A new system window. If I check their profiles, I will know for sure who to choose. Odal, 40 years old from the borderlands, joined the household of Grand Duke Fraser as a maid at age 20 and has shown excellent work performance. Let me check first. It doesn't look very different from the borderlands. A secret. It doesn't automatically charge coins if I click Read More, right, like a post-pay thing. Whatever, let's just click Read More. Odal's hidden secret is that she is the secret younger sister of Grand Duke Frazier's chief aide, Luke Kelper. Hint, Luke Kelper carries a deep sense of guilt toward Odal Kelper. She understands the situation. So that's how it is. Odal is Luke's younger sister, and furthermore, the hint suggests Luke Kelper carries a deep sense of guilt toward Odal Kelper. Chalia suddenly speaks up. Aunt Aubrey. Aubrey immediately focuses her attention. Yes, Chalia, have you chosen? Surely Rilda is better, matching your dig. Nitty, her gaze shows determination. No, I will choose Odal to be my head maid. The room is luxuriously decorated. Odal carefully helps Chalia brush her hair, and all the tangles are probably cleared out by now. My lady, thank you for your hard work. She smiles brightly. Thank you. Odal is skilled at her job and kind-hearted as well, which is a huge relief. I wonder if it is because she and Luke are siblings. After she is appointed head maid, not only Aubrey, but also all the other maids do not dare to say anything. They are probably shocked. Because I hire a maid from the borderlands. But the moment I see Odal's profile setting, her place of origin is no longer an issue. How could I not choose her when she is the secret younger sister of Luke Kelper? This information will definitely be useful to me. But I wonder what that guilt Luke carries is all about. Light shines through the window. Chalia is overjoyed. My hair is back. I can finally walk around with decent hair. This is the first time in days her hair looks normal again, finally returning to her former self, even more beautiful than before. It would be great if everything remains peaceful like this. She did not expect the asset stat, which she thought would be the biggest problem, to be resolved so easily. Luckily, Lilius and his partner are so foolish. I will raise the other stats one by one. So is the only thing left her trashy reputation. No matter how much she tries to increase her stats, if everyone hates her, she can never achieve rank A. To increase my reputation, I must enter the main storyline and resolve events. Just like Koriko did in the end, she will have to meet the male. Leads, she must at least leave some kind of impression, let alone increasing their favorability. Anyway, to meet them, I need to be able to move around freely first. I need a direct successor pendant to travel. Chalia's debutante ball is still far off, so she has to find another way. Should I try to increase the Grand Duke's favorability and then casually ask him about it? During Koriko's route, the higher the Grand Duke's favorability, the easier it is to ask for favors. And is there a way to quickly increase his favorability? I could give him a lot of homemade jam, but in one day. I can only make a tiny bit. Odal will certainly not just stand by and watch her tirelessly make jam. Odal gently advises her, "My lady, please rest." Chalia imagines the scene. If she gives him the jam Odal made, it defeats the whole purpose of being homemade. And the Grand Duke will realize she did not make it herself, so his favorability will not increase. Aziz would notice at a glance that this is definitely not made by Chalia. So, how does she increase his favorability? Or should I take advantage of the upcoming event? The closest event is probably the meeting regarding the Staties Plane. In TGP, the Staties Plane is a territory you must own to unlock the ending. It is the place where Lilius and the third son, Nigel Fraser, once tried to push a horse ranch project. Of course, in the story, that ranch project fails miserably. So, what if I vote against it in the meeting? The project will fail anyway, right? This means I am protecting that land from causing a loss to the Fraser family. She will show them her diligence by preventing the family from suffering losses, while also demonstrating her business competence, thereby increasing favorability. Moreover, Chalia also has the right to use that option. If I use it, I can outmaneuver my uncles. But she is not very confident. I cannot attend such an important meeting with stats like this. Should I use the coins I've saved up until now? Inside the Grand Duke's conference room, everyone whispers. So today is finally the day. We seize control of the Staties Plane. Lilius is extremely proud of himself. Indeed, it took quite a while to put this issue on the council's agenda. Don't you think so? Representative Count Ney has some doubts. Yes, but are you sure this is fine? This is the land that the late Grand Duchess cherished dearly. I suspect he might have considered abstaining. Representative Ney, he is extremely confident. My father, you surely do not know him well yet. My parents were practically mortal enemies. Do you really think my father cares about the land my mother loved? We just need to expand the business and win the Empress's trust. That is more than enough. It seems only direct family members are attending today, so do not worry too much. There will be no abstentions. The votes in favor will definitely make up the majority. An announcement echoes out. The Grand Duke has arrived. Lilius immediately greets him warmly. Good morning, father. Last night, did you sleep well, father? Aziz appears solemn. Everyone, please be seated. Let us begin the meeting. This meeting is held upon the honor of the Fraser family. I require each of you to swear and pledge to maintain the dignity worthy of our direct bloodline. He suddenly falls into contemplation. The silhouette of Lyjan suddenly appears. Aziz remains silent, but his hand is trembling. The moderator of the Fraser direct bloodline meeting begins the session. We will now proceed with the emergency voting session. Attendees include the two representatives, Lilius Fraser and the representative of Nigel Fraser. A sound comes from outside the door. Wait a moment, apologies for being late. Even the Grand Duke is startled. Chalia introduces herself. This is my first time coming to the council chamber, so I got lost. Chalia Fraser is here to attend the direct bloodline council meeting. The moderator has no reason to stop her. No problem, Lady Chalia Fraser. Any direct descendant of the Fraser family can attend this meeting. She nods politely. Thank you. Sir, Lilius is furious but cannot do anything about it. What is that troublemaker doing here? Is she planning to play some trick again? Nigel turns to reassure him. Calm down, Baron. Even if she votes against it, it won't change anything. The votes in favor will still overwhelm, so don't worry too much. Lilius tries to calm down. Exactly. I don't know why that idiot Chalia dragged herself here, but she can't do anything. If she talks nonsense, I will kick her out immediately. I will make her regret setting foot in here. Chalia, he solemnly announces. With 3 direct members officially present, the meeting begins. Today's topic is the approval for commercial development on the Stades plain belonging to the Grand Duchy. According to family laws, those in favor, please raise your hands. Lilius is the first to raise his hand. He understands Chalia's thoughts. Of course, it doesn't matter if she doesn't raise her hand. Her vote only counts as one. Let's see what kind of foolish ideas that thick head of hers is going to spit out today. My niece, it seems. You object to the development of the Stades plain. She smiles and replies, yes, of course I object. Lilius is provoked to anger. A strong answer indeed. I want to hear your reasoning. Do you even know where the Stades plain is located? Chalia fires back sharply. The chairman has already explained it. You probably didn't listen. Did you? He is petrified. What? She turns the tables. And you are asking why I object, right? The soil of the Stades plain is soft and damp, entirely unsuitable for raising horses. Even though it is centrally located within the Grand Duchy and easily connected to the capital, its excessive size means the profit gained is barely anything compared to the investment cost. Additionally, I assume you have already calculated the reception costs for the nobles who will come to inspect the area, right? Perfect. Raising her stats. Last night was indeed a genius decision. System, skill level +1, skill penalty is removed, remaining coins 993. Chalia is extremely excited. This skill doesn't cost as many coins as I thought. Awesome, now my stats have increased and I won't misspeak like before. System, skill and stat shop unlocked. You can now access the skill title shop to purchase skill-related titles. She finds it strange. A new system feature, this did not exist in the original game before, is this feature. Exclusive to Chalia, opening Wordmaster. There are so many things here. Exclusive stat +1. Wordmaster. Homemade jam expert. Mobile encyclopedia. Chalia looks up at the panel. So from now on, I can buy and use them. Perfect, exactly. What I need. I will buy these 2 skills to prepare for tomorrow. The skills I choose are Wordmaster and Mobile Encyclopedia. For someone who doesn't understand this world well like me, nothing is more useful than these. It definitely costs 200 coins, but I have no regrets at all. Wordmaster increases persuasion by 10% when speaking and reduces misspeaking. Mobile Encyclopedia provides general knowledge in all fields. So I have absolutely no regrets. Lilia slams his hand on the table. What? That land was personally inspected by the Empress and she agreed to supply horses for that area, yet you dare challenge the Empress. Chalia is certain of one thing. But the final decision for the horse project rests entirely with the Emperor, does it not? He is instantly speechless. How do you know that? She strikes directly at Lilius's weak spot. Uncle, do not be so blindly devoted to the imperial family that you abandon the pride of the Fraser family. A which infuriates him, insolent. Brat, how dare you speak to your uncle like that? Chalia firmly disagrees. Grandfather, this plan will only bring disgrace to the family's honor. I object to the commercial exploitation of the plain at this time. Lilius hurriedly urges, Father, please disregard that girl's words. The opinion of an ignorant young girl means nothing. She is not afraid at all. Oh, uncle, you are mistaken. According to family laws, we have the right to vote on behalf of direct family members. In council meetings, though that probably doesn't matter to you, right? Since Tedric is still suspended under disciplinary action. I, Chalia Fraser, on behalf of my father and twin brother, members of the Marquis's household, cast a total of 4 votes, all against the proposal. Does anyone have any objections? The moderator of the Fraser Direct Bloodline meeting raps the gavel. I will announce the results now. The results of the vote regarding the permission to develop the Stades plain are 2 in favor and 4 against. We conclude to reject the use of that land. The meeting is now adjourned. Lilius cannot accept the result. This is ridiculous. No way, suddenly showing up in the meeting and using tricks like that is utterly outrageous. Assis truly becomes angry. Lilius, did you just call the family? Law's a trick. He is scared out of his wits. Father, that's not what I meant. My apologies. Chalia celebrates in her heart. This success is definitely worth acquiring the skill title. Now the important part is whether this increases the Grand Duke's favorability. I can't read his expression, so I have no idea what he is thinking. The favorability window keeps popping up and closing on its own. Don't tell me I'll have to use coins to buy. Features like this in the future, as he suddenly calls her name, Chalia Fraser. Chalia then smiles. Yes, grandfather, he requests, follow me. She watches the backs of the leaving nobles. Chalia is utterly bewildered. What does he want to say that requires? Changing locations like this? How luxurious. What room is this? Even Koriko, who has been to almost every room in the mansion, has never seen this room, yet it does not look like an occupied room either. There are barely any signs of life. Why did the Grand Duke bring her to a place like this? Chalia softly speaks. Up, grandfather, about? It seems Assis has suspicions. Chalia Fraser, you haven't attended a single meeting until now, so how did you know you could use proxy votes? She understands everything. Ah, so he is suspicious because my actions are unlike the real Chalia. Actually, this is even better. With a granddaughter who suddenly behaves differently from her usual image, if he thinks she has been quietly studying hard, it will make her look even better in his eyes. I read a book on family laws in the main building's library a long time ago, grandfather. I remembered what I read back then. He finds it hard to believe. Are you reading books on family law? Which generation of the Fraser family does this old duke belong to? The Fraser family was originally a duke family. So from when were they promoted to grand duke? Chalia answers clearly. It is the 17th generation, starting from the 5th family head, Lord Solely Fraser. Assis continues to test her on what achievements he made. She lists a series of achievements: defeating barbarians, deciphering ancient languages, and discovering dragon bones in the wasteland. To this extent, and yet he still doubts Chalia's reading. It is fine to just praise his granddaughter for reading a book she has never touched before. Still, it is fortunate that the Grand Duke's questions all fall within the scope of knowledge granted by her skilled title. Just think, what if she knows the answer but cannot speak it just because of Chalia's stats? He seems extremely satisfied. You surprised me many times today. Finally, Chalia breathes a sigh of relief. It looks like the suspicion about her is temporarily cleared. Assis shifts his mood. Especially the act of disobedience you committed today, daring to overturn the voting results to oppose your uncle in front of everyone. It is indeed very bold. However, no matter how justified your intentions are, what you did today is still disrespectful. Chalia suddenly remembers. Right to the Grand Duke, who values hierarchy and family, her action is definitely seen as defiance, but Assis generously forgives her. I will overlook today's matter, since this is the first time, but next time. Ah, Chalia does not want to hide it anymore. Grandfather, don't you also want to know the reason why I acted like that? She has no intention of apologizing and just letting it go. She does not do this with half-hearted determination. She has prepared many things to say. She will say everything before leaving. I know very well that I committed an act of disobedience against my uncles, but I must prepare a way to protect myself, even if I have to go to that extent. He is taken aback by Chalia. What are you saying? Protect yourself. Her heart aches when she thinks of family affection because she has no father and mother to protect her. Assis freezes on the spot. Chalia speaks out about the humiliation she has to endure. As you know, I was deceived by Uncle Lilius and not properly shielded. To avoid experiencing that again, I need my own strength, but I am not yet of age, so I do not have the freedom to act. Meanwhile, my twin brothers have established their positions and received the direct successor crest. They can fully protect themselves, but I am still far from my coming-of-age ceremony. I did this because I thought if I could prevent damage to the Grand Duchy in this meeting and gain your recognition, perhaps you would give me a chance to receive the direct successor crest. The vase basks in the brilliant morning light. Assis agrees with what Chalia presents. I understand, but do not make me repeat what I have said. Even though your actions benefit the family, you have also created a rift in family relations, and the matter of the direct successor crest is against the family laws, so it cannot be done. The conversation ends here. Leaving the room today, she herself finds it baffling. It seems difficult to persuade the Grand Duke further, so she must wait for a later opportunity. But considering that he was just scolding Chalia, it is a bit strange that she is not placed under house arrest. A notification window on the system favorability status panel of the Grand Duke rises sharply, increasing from 30% to 50%. What? 50% favorability? Favorability increases at a time like this. System, the Grand Duke's favorability rises sharply. from 30% to 50%. System special benefit unlocked, cutscene, the lost ring. Chalia celebrates first, even though she does not know what it is. It will definitely be useful. She is startled in shock. Huh, isn't this Grand Ducacy's when he was young, decades ago, a 19-year-old Assis Frazier? The host speaks as the bride enters. The royal maple garden of the summer continent. The Grand Duke and the Grand Duchess met through a forced political marriage. They were famous for their terrible relationship even before marriage, to the point that people said they were just waiting for a way to ruin each other. However, that is only a rumor woven within noble circles. Lion links arms with Assis as they enter the wedding hall. The truth is, there is a hidden story completely different from the rumors. Lion. Mappian, princess of the summer continent. Before becoming the Grand Duchess, Lion was originally a princess who possessed the qualities of a wise and noble monarch. More than anyone, she loved her subjects, and her outstanding talents in many fields made her dream of one day becoming the queen of her country. The people deeply loved her for her wisdom and kindness. With all of that, her becoming the queen of the summer continent was almost a given, but dreams rarely match reality. Many people looked down on or tried to suppress her. Because royal women were only viewed as tools to strengthen alliances between nations, Lion was no exception. She refused and resisted time and time again, but things were not easy. Even when prepared for the possibility of a civil war, she still desperately fought to change her fate, but in the end, she failed in her struggle for the throne. The reason Assis Frazier decided to marry her was solely because of her royal status. Assis approached her only to ensure a stable inheritance path for himself. Of course, to Lion, this marriage proposal was nothing short of a disaster. Who would be happy having to walk a path completely opposite to their dream? Despite her fierce opposition, the political marriage was still forced to happen, and so she became Lion Fraser. How much happiness could such a forced marriage bring? Once a strong woman, Lion is now a caged bird, swallowed by despair. Not long after their wedding day, she stops eating and locks herself in her room. The maids are extremely worried. "My lady, if you keep this up, you will surely fall ill. Please eat a little." Lion looks out the window. "What is that plane out there?" The maid provides information about what she sees through the window frame. "That is the Staddy's plane, my lady." She pauses for a few seconds. "The Staddy's plane looks like my hometown. A strangely familiar scenery. Just as I have heard, it is truly beautiful." After that despairing marriage, her only comfort is watching the vast field through the window frame. Gazing at the scenery and the blooming flowers, Lion is finally able to smile faintly. Assis, surprisingly, cares for her. "If you like it so much, why not try visiting the plane once? It is better than staying in your room all day. Tending to it might make your mood better in your current condition. You cannot go alone. Please let me escort you. Let's go together." The arranged marriage that Lion reluctantly accepted is painful. But Assis, who was also forced, finds no comfort either. He always carries a sense of guilt toward her, and though clumsy, still tries to express his feelings in his own way. Lion begins to realize that sincerity. The man she once hated slowly finds a place in her heart, and the Staddy's plane where she went reluctantly turns out to be breathtakingly beautiful. From then on, Lion begins to personally tend the flowers there. Her face grows brighter day by day, her smile gradually returning. Lion softly calls Assis's name. "Thank you." Gradually, almost no one notices that Lion has filled the young Grand Duke's heart. Assis once thought he would never truly be close to her. But over time, a tiny hope begins to blossom in his heart. That maybe the two of them could become a precious family to each other. Yet that relationship never truly blossomed. Contrary to the rumors circulating everywhere, they never had loud arguments, but the Grand Duke was always stern and silent, while Lion was cautious and did not dare approach him. And so both kept their hearts closed. Time passed and they had 4 children together. Each time a child was born, the distance between them narrowed a bit more. But tragedy always comes without warning. One day, their eldest daughter suddenly passed away. Grieved by that loss, the Grand Duchess also passed away shortly after her daughter. Their love ended, remaining only in each other's hearts. Even now, the Grand Duke still mourns her. Lion's grave is placed where the Staddy's plane can be seen most clearly, and whenever he misses her, Assis goes to that hill to look at the plane. To him, The Staddy's plane is the shadow of his beloved wife. Chalia has to doubt her own life. Unbelievable. Did the Grand Duke and Duchess once love each other? That is completely different from the game's storyline and what everyone knows. I cleared the Grand Duke's route so many times, but never knew there was such a past between them. Of course I didn't. The game never told this. That is why his favorability points suddenly soared. System, the Grand Duke's favorability rises sharply, from 30% to 50%. She understands the whole story. Turns out it is not just because she voted against it. He is grateful because she helped preserve the Grand Duchess's memory. She was so absorbed in farming favorability points that she neglected the most important thing, allowing people to speak carelessly about the land she loved most. No wonder he is so heartbroken. Chalia realizes her mistake. I apologize, grandfather. Aziz is a bit annoyed. Are you still here? I told you to leave. No matter what you say, it won't change my decision. Go back. She appeals directly to his emotions. I just remembered something. Grandmother treasured that land very much, didn't she? As expected, he loses his composure. What? Chalia gives her reason. I apologize for only viewing the plane as a business opportunity for personal gain. I cannot ask grandmother for forgiveness, but I will protect it with you for her memory. After all, I am her relative. I hope she will watch over that land as she always has. The land she loved so much. I hope it remains forever unchanged along with our memories. Aziz is speechless. She bows deeply. Please forgive me for speaking out of turn. I am truly sorry. Grandfather, I shall take my leave. Suddenly, he shows interest. Do you want the direct successor crest? Crest? Chalia quickly denies it. I do not mean that, grandfather. Aziz flips the issue back. Did you not just say it that you acted for the direct successor crest? Then I shall give you an opportunity to earn it. She is shocked. He does not forget to remind her, do not argue. If you fail, you will only receive it at your social debut. Remember this. The Cademian is about to be held. Do you know what that is? Chalia's eyes light up. The Cademian special exam, a special right that the family head can only use once every 10 years. Normally, direct successors take the exam to qualify at the prescribed age, but the Cademian allows them to obtain that qualification earlier. This tradition was established by the ancestors so that talented heirs could experience the world earlier. She sets a goal, so that is how it is. If I pass that exam, I will receive the direct successor crest. I did not apologize for this purpose. But since the opportunity presents itself, why refuse? Yes, I will keep that in mind. I will pass that exam at all costs. Lilius cannot accept the harsh reality. Unbelievable, the direct successor crest for Chalia. This goes against the family laws. Aziz does not care about his opinion. Kanbe th letter 1 adm chai kan chua tham gia k letter 1 ef3 kh letter 1 ea3 o thai. Lilius, how much more chaos do you intend to cause? I repeat, everything is being carried out in accordance with the family laws. The Cademian was established for talented young people of the direct line. Are you daring to question the criteria set by previous family heads? Until now, Chalia has always performed excellently. She is fully qualified to participate in the Cademian. Lilius takes every chance to slander others. Father, have you forgotten what Chalia did to Tedric? That girl. He defends Chalia wholeheartedly. Wasn't Tedric the one who started the trouble first? So, are you going to drag up a matter that has already been resolved? In that matter, you have no ground to speak. How much longer must I endure this? Lilius is at a loss for words. That matter. Father, everything is a misunder. Standing, Aziz flares up in anger. This is my final warning, Lilius. No matter what you say, the Cademian is under the absolute authority of the family head, and I will not tolerate any further insults. Get out of the room. Now he is mad with rage. Unbelievable, that lowly brat is allowed to participate in the Cademian. No matter what it takes, I must stop her from passing the exam. I'm already drowning in debt because I failed to secure ownership of the plane. If that girl expands her influence while Tedric is serving his punishment, it is too dangerous. How did that stupid brat turn the tables? Her passing the exam easily is impossible, but I cannot leave even a single sliver of a chance. One way or another, I will use this opportunity to crush her completely. The day of the Cademian arrives. The Cademian, a special exam for talented individuals of the direct line. Since the exam is conducted under the absolute authority of the family head, all forms of cheating are forbidden. To ensure fairness, a special external examiner is invited to oversee it. Chalia hardens her resolve. If I do well, maybe I can even meet that person. Someone who just spies her says warmly, "Good morning, Lady Chalia." It seems Chalia already knew. He was coming. Sus briefly introduces himself. "My name is Sus Smith, and I am a Pinuma. Now let us begin the exam." She cannot help but feel curious. The Pinuma of the Bryan Empire is the only empire on the Spring Continent. 4 great pillars of power exist here. The first pillar is the royal family, the second is the Grand Ducal House of Fraser, the third is the 4 noble families, and finally, the White Ivory Tower. The White Ivory Tower is where all knowledge is accumulated, a gathering place for talented scholars. Upon reaching a certain level, individuals here are bestowed the title of Pinuma. Among them, the character Sus Smith is the youngest Pinuma in history. Although only a supporting character, he is highly popular due to his intelligent and calm image. The way to increase his favorability is to amaze him with superior knowledge. Chalia remembers correctly. He is also an important character to gain an audience with the Crown Prince, one of the male leads. I had a hunch I would meet him one day, but to meet him like this is truly lucky. My luck is indeed very high right now. Is it thanks to the luck-boosting coin? All right now that. It has come to this with the Exam God skill title that I prepared. System: Exam God skill title activated. I will pass the exam and impress Sus Smith with my intelligence. Of mine, it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Ruse reports the results to Assis Frazier. A perfect score in arithmetic, and a perfect score in rhetoric. All of them are perfect scores. It is truly astonishing. She did not take the Cademian just for show. He does not easily trust anyone. Is that so? Ruse becomes even more bewildered. I cannot believe it either. I checked it multiple times and the results remain the same. I really want to know which teacher taught the young lady to be so outstanding. Assis Frazier asserts, I am afraid Chalia does not have a private tutor, leaving him stunned. What? Sir, during my entire time as a Pinuma at the White Ivory Tower, this is the first time I have seen an examinee pass the exam with a perfect score. A young lady who has never received formal education obtaining a perfect score on her first try means she is a true genius. Assis Frazier rests his chin on his hand, looking thoughtful. Ruse showers Chalia with praise, thinking she must have studied very hard on her own and it must have been difficult. He personally makes an exception. Tomorrow, I will bestow the direct successor crest upon Chalia. Begin preparing the ceremony immediately. Along with the direct successor crest, please prepare a special library pass and immediately send a request to the White Ivory Tower to dispatch a Pinuma to tutor Chalia. Ruse thinks to himself, the Grand Duke of Fraser requesting a Pinuma from the White Ivory Tower? Grand Duke Fraser and the White Ivory Tower have long been at odds due to political power struggles. Therefore, unlike the children of other noble families who are tutored by Pinumas, all of the grandchildren of Grand Duke Assis Frazier have to attend the academy. He cannot help but feel surprised that the Grand Duke is the one taking the initiative to make peace like this. If the White Ivory Tower and the Grand Ducal family begin to restore friendly relations, it will mean a major shift in the power dynamic of the empire. Sus keeps pondering. Heavens, this will send a shockwave throughout the entire country. Chalia sits on her bed and checks the results, not very surprised. Just as I thought, I passed the exam with a perfect score quite easily. What a relief the skill title I purchased before the exam is truly effective. System: Exam God skill title allows the user to obtain a perfect score on any exam. Cost 500 points. Remaining system points 233. She has no regrets. It is much more expensive than other titles, so I hesitated a bit. But thanks to it, I increased Sus's favorability and obtained the direct successor crest. It is totally worth it. The crest presentation ceremony is tomorrow night. I am finally receiving it after becoming the bearer of the direct successor crest. My status will be completely different. First, I will have more freedom to act, so the priority is to meet the male leads. The most effective way to rank up is to meet them. It is probably best to enter the royal palace with Sus to meet the first male lead, Crown Prince Taranin. After that, if I utilize my strategies well, maybe I will reach rank A before Koriko appears. Who is knocking at this hour? Who is there? Odal gently opens the door. I am sorry for coming so late. My lady, I heard tomorrow is your investiture ceremony. Chalia directly acknowledges it. That is right. Are you here to congratulate me? Thank you. I was able to do it thanks to your encouragement. Odal, she acts mysteriously. My lady, I am sorry to interrupt your joy, but I have something important to say, which catches Chalia's attention. What is it? Odal recounts everything. Not long ago, was it not Tedric's exam paper? She feels puzzled. Why do you have this? Odal is strangely calm. While you were having dinner, my lady, Rilda acted suspiciously. I observed her from afar and saw her hiding this in your wardrobe. I did not know what would happen if I exposed her right. Then, so I just kept watching. But isn't hiding this exam paper clearly a plot to frame you? Chalia shows no reaction. Is that so? She is even more certain. If Rilda did this, it must be under Lilius's orders, those venomous snakes will never leave me alone. Are they planning to use this exam paper to tarnish my achievements, to say that I passed because I got leaked questions? How ridiculous, there is no way. I will let them do whatever they want. Chalia orders her maid, Odal, can you bring me paper identical to this? You are far from capable of bringing me down. On the day of the direct successor crest presentation ceremony at the Fraser residence in Astor Hall, Lady Chalia steps inside. A noblewoman glances at her and exclaims, "Oh my," whispers begin to echo. Today's star has finally arrived. I heard she got a perfect score on the exam. One person looks astonished. No way Chalia could do that. Did she actually take the exam seriously? After Chalia takes her place, the host of the Fraser Direct Lineage Gathering speaks up. Let us begin the ceremony. Grand Ducacies Frazier says, Chalia Fraser, under the authority of the family head, the Cademian exam was held and you passed with outstanding results. He reaches out to take a shining object from the box. In recognition of your exceptional intelligence, I officially bestow upon you the direct successor crest. Hearing this, Lilius immediately shouts, Out what, father? This ceremony is invalid. He clenches his fist, his voice extremely harsh. Chalia is not worthy of receiving the direct successor crest. Seeing his son's rudeness, Grand Ducacies Frazier turns around and sternly reprimands, Lilius, you again. I spoke until your ears were ringing yesterday. Back down immediately. He pleads, please, father, just listen to me this once. At this moment, Aubrey suddenly speaks up. I have proof, she says slowly. Father, Chalia's maid said she saw paper in the girl's wardrobe, paper identical to the exam paper. The Grand Duke exclaims in surprise. What did you say? The Cademian exam papers are made of special mulberry paper, which means she knew the questions beforehand. Aubrey replies, I also found it suspicious, so I checked the exam storage box under Tedric's name and the box is empty. Lilius asserts, clearly Chalia stole Tedric's exam paper. Thanks to that, she knew the contents of the exam beforehand. Otherwise, how could she achieve a perfect score? The Grand Duke frowns slightly. Tedric's exam paper, I will ask the boy directly, he orders Tedric to be brought here immediately. In the blink of an eye, Tedric Fraser arrives. He is extremely terrified and trembling, saying, I greet you, grandfather. Assis Frazier asks in a stern voice, Tedric Fraser, I heard your exam paper disappeared. Do you have anything to do with this? Tedric quickly waves his hands and explains, Of course not, grandfather. I was confined under your orders and did not leave my room at all. Aubrey and her husband reply in unison, That is right, father. Tedric obeyed the orders very strictly. It is unfair for you to suspect us. Lilius continues to steer the conversation. If it is not the truth, then we just need to prove it, right? He wears a cunning smile and says, For example, why don't we have the servants inspect Chalia's room? Cheating on the Cademian exam is a very serious offense, and since there is a possibility of destroying evidence, it is best to act immediately. Grand Duke Fraser exclaims, Do you think we need to go that far? Chalia replies solemnly, Yes, grandfather. In her heart, she is actually very surprised. This is the first time he called her without using her title. Assis Frazier asks his granddaughter, If Luke Kelper and the attendants conduct a search of your room, do you agree? Chalia softly replies, Yes. She thinks to herself, Isn't this almost like an official search warrant? I did not expect him to ask like this. He means he believes me. She feels touched. She has never expected anything like familial affection from the Grand Duke, but when he looks at her with such a worried look, that feeling is not bad at all. Chalia smiles confidently and replies, "Of course, grandfather, everyone can inspect my room freely, and if anyone here wants to verify for themselves, they can also come along. I know very well what everyone is thinking." She pauses for a moment, then bows her head slightly and continues in a low voice. "It is all because of my behavior until now. Honestly, if someone like me suddenly obtained a perfect score, I would doubt it myself. So I do not blame everyone, but because of that, today I want to prove myself clearly. Please inspect it with your own eyes, and then you will know that I am truly innocent." This attitude of hers makes Lilius extremely astonished. He thinks to himself, why is she so bold? Even if she did not do it, no one can be so calm in this situation. Lilius wears a gloating smile. Doesn't she realize the trap she is walking into? Haha, that smart head will not save you today. You have fallen straight into my trap, Chalia Fraser. Soon after, when several servants search Chalia's room, Lilius and his wife discover a stack of hidden papers in a drawer. What they bring back is enough to make a seize. Fraser fly into a rage. He grits his teeth. "Lilius Fraser, come here and read this yourself." Assis Fraser hands the stack of papers to his son and orders him to read it loud enough for everyone to hear. Just that is more than enough evidence. Lilius takes the paper and reads out loud to Marquis Assis. "Sir, are you well? Since you do not like being called father, I will address you by your title. I have lived in regret and dedicated myself to studying. I know you will never be satisfied with me, but I have tried endlessly to become a child who does not shame you. I hope that one day, in a very distant future, I can call you Father, and with that this ends another letter that I will never be brave enough to send. Signed, Chalia Fraser." Having finished reading, Lilius has an extremely shocked expression. He stutters, "How can this be?" Chalia's expression is extremely calm, as if she knew this beforehand. Last night she pulled out a special piece of mulberry paper and said to Odal, "Can you help me find paper identical to this?" After finding the paper, Chalia sits at her desk and writes several letters in one go. Seeing this, Odal asks, "My lady, are you sure? I know this will make me look like a guilty person, but the contents of that letter might make him truly angry." Chalia reassures her, "Don't worry, Odal, he is not that kind of person." In her heart, she thinks, his favorability toward me is already at 50%. The real problem is the people attending the ceremony today. People do not care about the truth. They only distort rumors and prejudices into what they want to believe, and right now when my reputation has hit rock bottom, if I am framed so perfectly like this, what can I do? No matter what I say, it is hard to escape suspicion, Chalia asserts. So I must overturn both my reputation and this accusation in one go. It is not easy, but this is something I must do at least once in my life. I will use the reversal effect. I will create a viral story that is completely opposite to the rumors about me. Chalia suddenly stops and puts her pen down on the desk, asking Odal, "Aren't you excited? Imagine the look on my uncle's face when he finds the letter right where he thinks the stolen exam paper will be." Her eyes suddenly light up and her voice turns sharp and cold. "Just to see that expression. I can use my father at any time." Chalia picks up her pen. "Again, I will write a letter instead of an exam paper, a letter from a poor daughter who never dares to send it to her father." She folds the paper. "I will leverage their compassion, something that can move the hearts of the noble elders, and at the same time, if I write about how hard I have been studying all this time, those who read it will think of me as a suffering but hardworking child, right?" Chalia grins and says confidently, "Don't worry, Odal, if necessary, I can even take the exam publicly." And at this moment, the plan goes exactly as planned. Chalia thinks to herself, "Lilius is so foolish." She looks at her uncle, who is trembling with fear, feeling a bit smug. "How can you compete with me, uncle?" At this moment, buzzing whispers rise from the surroundings. "Oh dear, it seems Lady Chalia has been very lonely." They say when a child feels empty, she becomes stubborn and mischievous. Falsely accusing his own biological niece like that makes him unworthy of being an uncle. Assis Fraser freezes for a long moment, then he turns to Lilius and says sternly, "I cannot believe you are so despicable. How shameful." The Grand Duke Orders Luke Kelper. We will resume the crest presentation ceremony in 5 minutes. He replies immediately, Yes, Your Grace. Lilius tightens his grip on the paper in his hand, his entire body trembling with rage. This cannot be. That brat definitely knew something and set me up on purpose. How dare Chalia Fraser stab me in the back like this? I will never forgive her. The next day, Chalia sits on the sofa, deep in thought. Yesterday's commotion quickly subsided, and my crest presentation ceremony went smoothly without any obstacles. Finally, I obtained the precious direct successor crest. Chalia feels that it is probably because she shed quite a bit of sweat and tears to obtain it, making the feeling even more special. During the ceremony, Lilius and his family cannot bear the heavy atmosphere and sneak away. They must be dying of shame. As for Rilda, the maid who falsely accused me, she is banished from the Fraser estate. Tedric is sent to the old warehouse in Rental, where I was once locked up, and must face an even harsher punishment. As for Lilius, his punishment will be decided later, but the waiting period before sentencing is always the most terrifying, isn't it? She looks at the hot cup of tea on the table and thinks to herself that the family probably does not dare to open their mouths anymore, so she does not need to worry about them either. Suddenly, a notification chime rings out. Chalia realizes it is the sound from the system status window. The notification shows that her rank has been upgraded. Her current overall rank is D. She cheers with excitement. All right, finally reached rank D. It is slow and difficult, but I am progressing bit by bit. Chalia picks up her teacup and tells herself, I have taken another step away from death. Well done. After calculating carefully, Chalia stands up and mutters, So next it is time to meet the male leads, and among them, of course, Crown Prince Ferdinand is the first one I need to find. She recalls the game's plot. Befriending the Crown Prince yields more reward points than the other male leads, and since she cannot afford to waste time, she must meet him as soon as possible. Right at this moment, a voice calls out from outside the door. My lady, you have a visitor. Chalia turns her head and asks, who is it? When the maid replies it is Sus Smith the Vinema, she is completely shocked. Sus. The distinguished guest is quickly invited inside. He says politely, Apologies for my sudden visit, my lady. Chalia replies, It is fine. What brings you here? Sus gets straight to the point. I will ask directly. I am here to propose a deal to you, my lady. Chalia smiles broadly and says, Sure, I am listening. Sus is slightly surprised. My lady agrees before knowing what I am going to say. She speaks with a very amicable tone. Well, you know, a scholar like a Vinema will not make a bizarre proposal. In reality, she is secretly rejoicing. Him proactively approaching her is an advantage. After all, as expected of the Academy's top graduate, Sus is the closest person to the Crown Prince. She does not know how to approach the Crown Prince, and he appears at just the right time. Chalia asks seriously, So, what is the deal? Sus pulls out a stack of documents, places them on the table, and replies, Here, can you read this? Chalia picks up the paper and examines it intently. Looking at the strange characters, she thinks to herself that she has never seen this language before. It is neither a common language nor an ancient language of this world. At this moment, a system notification suddenly rings out. Chalia asks herself, What is this? Maybe the system window will react. Sure enough, the Mobile Encyclopedia application opens, granting a 10% increase to knowledge in all fields. Chalia realizes, it is a skill title. Since this is something I do not know well, it probably just triggered the notification. It is like Google Translate. She immediately tries applying it to the document. Instantly, the meaning of the first few lines appears. Chalia reads slowly, detached from my body, separated from me to my fragment. Hearing these words, Sus is utterly astonished. He exclaims, My lady, you can read this. Chalia smiles dryly to herself, thinking that with her current title she can only understand this much. She says, Apologies, I can only understand that much, I think. It will take some time to translate all of it. Sus stands up abruptly and replies hurriedly, It is fine, no matter how long it takes. Just please let me know the content once you finish translating it. That language is not something anyone can read. Only those with special abilities can decode it. My lady, you must possess that ability. Hearing this, Chalia secretly worries. A special ability? Even a Vinema, a master of knowledge, cannot read this. I only agreed because I thought it was an ancient script and reading it would leave an impression. But if rumors spread that I am someone with special talent, it will be even more troublesome. She puts the stack of papers down on the table and says, "If it is not impolite, may I ask what kind of document this is?" Chalia assesses internally that it looks like a letter. Sus replies, "Ah, it is a letter from my father." Meanwhile, the system displays the information of the character opposite her. System character info, Sus Smith, 26 years old, the youngest Vinema in history. To view his secret, pay 500 coins. She thinks to herself, "Fortunately, I guess it is not a secret of the imperial family. He must have his own reasons, so." "I should not ask further," Chalia says. "Leave the letter with me. It will take some time, but I will translate it for you." Sus exclaims, "Really, my lady?" She suddenly smiles and makes a condition. "Of course. Only if you accept my condition." Chalia looks straight into Sus's eyes and says, "After all, this is a transaction." A few days later, the carriage leaves the mansion for the White Ivory Tower. Sus says cheerfully, "Just as I thought, my lady has a great interest in academics. You just received your direct successor crest and already want to visit the White Ivory Tower. You are truly an extraordinary person." Chalia smiles and replies, "Ha ha, you flatter me." She thinks to herself, "The reason I asked him to arrange a tour of the White Ivory Tower is because the Crown Prince, my primary target, often visits there, but in reality she is not that happy. Grand Duke Frazier sitting next to Chalia makes the atmosphere very awkward. She does not understand why her grandfather is here too. "Please don't talk to me, it is so awkward. If you have business at the White Ivory Tower, please go by yourself." At this moment, in the garden outside the White Ivory Tower, Empress Cammy walks over and says, "Sus Smith will return to the White Ivory Tower soon, likely, to begin training you. So before that happens, you must remember one thing. For the sake of the royal family's dignity, you must address me as your majesty." She looks straight at Ferdinand's face and asks, "Do you understand?" Crown Prince, and reluctant journey with her grandfather, the uncomfortable and exhausting travel time only lasts for a brief moment. At last, we arrive at the White Ivory Tower, considered a treasury of wisdom. The moment Chalia sees the magnificent tower, she blurts out, "It is indeed as grand as the rumors say." Sus asks, "Happily, my lady, would you like to follow me? I will slowly guide you around the White Ivory Tower." The Grand Duke replies in a stern tone, "No need, my granddaughter can walk on her own. As for you, follow me to meet the tower master." Hearing this, Sus is startled and stammers, "Me? Are you talking to me?" Assis confirms, "Yes, aren't you about to return to your post as a Vinema here? First, you must greet the tower master as proper etiquette requires." He suddenly asks in a low voice, "Or do you have some reason why you absolutely must be alone with my granddaughter?" Sus replies in a panic, "No, Grand Duke, that is." Chalia watches the backs of the two leaving, feeling delighted inside. She waves goodbye. "Have a safe trip, grandfather. You too, Sus, I can walk by myself, don't worry." Once she is completely alone, Chalia sighs with relief. "Phew, they are finally gone." She looks toward the majestic White Ivory Tower. "Now I should go find the Crown Prince." A few days ago, to fulfill her side of the deal with Sus, she said she wanted to visit the White Ivory Tower. Because in the game, the Crown Prince often appears here, and whenever Sus is around, there is a 100% chance of encountering the Crown Prince. Since she is racing against time, she must create a situation where she is guaranteed to meet him. Chalia enters the tower grounds. She guesses that in the White Ivory Tower there is only one place the Crown Prince will appear: the Imperial Garden. In the game, every time she goes there, she meets him, so if she goes there, she will surely meet him. Suddenly, at this moment, Chalia hears someone shouting, "You, how dare you say you cannot call me your majesty anymore?" She is startled. This voice sounds like an argument. "Who is that?" Chalia looks over and instantly recognizes the face of Empress Cammy. If someone dares to speak to the Empress in the Imperial Garden. At this moment, Ferdinand replies sternly, "No, Empress, I am saying that my mother is only one single person. How can I call a maidservant your majesty when speaking of the long-deceased? In the end, I am still Ferdinand." Chalia's mind is in turmoil. What is going on? Before she can process it, she sees the Empress slap Ferdinand hard across the face. Chalia is slightly frightened and stands frozen for a moment. Cammy says coldly, "When you calm down, we will talk. In this place that the former Empress loved, surely your anger will quickly subside. The crown prince remains silent, not uttering a single word in response. On his cheek, a large red mark is left behind. Witnessing this, Chalia thinks to herself, "Oh my, I know the relationship between the crown prince and Empress Cami is bad, but I never expected it to be this terrible." Olivia, Ferdinand's biological mother and the deceased empress, was a beautiful and intelligent woman. She was the youngest daughter of a prestigious family in the empire, possessing both unmatched grace and intelligence, so she naturally became the empress. However, Emperor Alexandro always felt dissatisfied. He hated her proud and cold personality. As time went by, Alexandro began to eye other women. The person he had an affair with was none other than the empress's waiting maid, Cami. Cami became pregnant with the second prince from that affair, which shocked Empress Olivia so much that she almost miscarried. After that incident, Empress Olivia prayed for a massive amount of divine power to protect the baby in her womb. Thanks to that effort, the child was born safely, but Empress Olivia passed away. Less than 5 years later, that child is Ferdinand. Initially, the young boy seemed very healthy, but due to the overwhelming amount of divine power used to protect him, Ferdinand suffers from a severe condition, divine power overload. This symptom causes him to endure endless pain, chronic headaches, and occasional hearing loss with tinnitus. Moreover, due to false rumors that those suffering from divine power overload will die young, Ferdinand always lives in danger of people targeting his position. Chalia laments, "I only intended to make a normal acquaintance, but the situation is much worse than I thought. If I consider Ferdinand's feelings, I should have waited for another opportunity. But there is a line the Crown Prince always says to the female protagonist in the game. I wish someone had been by my side back then when I was severely ill. No matter how ordinary they were, I would have been grateful. Since I am not the female protagonist, I must find another way to increase my favorability with the male lead. That is why I want to establish a connection with Ferdinand, whether as a friend or an ally, and understand him better to gradually build favorability." Chalia hesitates slightly. But is it right to approach a suffering person for her own selfish purposes? At this moment, the sky suddenly begins to rain. Chalia looks up and sighs, "Oh, it is raining again." Inside, her heart is in turmoil and the feeling of guilt does not fade. Ferdinand's body weakens whenever it rains. This is a game setting and she cannot ignore it. Chalia boldly steps forward. "Your Imperial Highness, Crown Prince." She walks up behind the Crown Prince and curtsies. "This is the first time I have met you. I am Chalia Fraser, granddaughter of Grand Duke Frazier. I know this garden is only for the royal family, but I felt compelled to enter because I am worried about you standing in the rain." She offers her handkerchief to him and says seriously, "I will accept punishment for my transgression later. For now, shouldn't you seek shelter from the rain first?" Chalia reflects. "Meeting Ferdinand in such a terrible state might be counterproductive, but I cannot abandon someone who was just slapped and is standing alone in the rain like this." Ferdinand turns to look at her. He bows his head in thought. For a moment then says quietly, "I will not pursue your impoliteness. Leave now." Chalia is gloomy. "Just as I thought, he only wants to be alone right now." Before her eyes, she decides she should leave first and then think of another way to approach this pitiful person. She places the handkerchief in Ferdinand's hand, points to her own cheek, and says, "Please wipe it quickly. I wish you a peaceful evening." After that, Chalia quickly leaves. Ferdinand stands there in a daze. He looks at the handkerchief in his palm and thinks this looks more like a rag than a handkerchief. Does Chalia, a daughter of such a prominent family, use a handkerchief like this? I didn't hear everything, but I can make a guess. Just now, because of this damn divine power overload, the last word was not clear. He raises the handkerchief to his cheek and gently wipes away the trace of blood. Wondering what she just said. Will I find out the next time we meet? The rain gets heavier by the minute, water pouring down the steps. Chalia worries whether Ferdinand has returned home safely yet. When I left, he was still standing in the garden under the pouring rain. Looking so pitiful, she feels a bit remorseful. Exploiting Ferdinand, even though I know his circumstances, even if this is just a game, still feels wrong. Chalia quickly walks away, thinking it is better to temporarily suspend her plan to approach Ferdinand. Perhaps I should focus on building my noble standing so I can become useful to the Crown Prince later. Suddenly, up. Ahead, someone's voice rings out. "Hey, who are you?" Chalia looks up, her eyes showing a trace of astonishment. The young man wearing white shoes is the second prince, Depp. Without waiting for her to answer, he says in a harsh voice, "People call this place the pure and noble white ivory tower, yet all I meet are these kind of troublesome things." Second Prince Depp is the child born from the affair between Empress Cammy and the Emperor. The pregnancy occurred right when the affair was discovered, and he was originally scripted to be stillborn in the storyline. Perhaps because of this, Cammy pampered and shielded Depp excessively. Chalia thinks to herself, because of that, the second prince's personality is set to be greedy and selfish. I never expected to run into him here. In this situation, she looks at Depp's arrogant expression. This nuisance that fell from the sky is exactly like his character in the game. The crown prince is treated so poorly, yet he dares to act all high and mighty. Chalia tries to calm herself down. I am really annoyed, but right now it is best to handle this smoothly. I cannot do anything at this moment. She immediately bows her head in salute. Greetings. Your Highness, seeing her calm face. The girl's calmness, Dave feels annoyed. He yells, "How dare a commoner greet me like that? Do you want to die?" Chalia replies softly, "No, Your Highness." In her heart, she thinks, is this guy crazy? How can anyone who walks freely in the white ivory tower be a commoner? Dave immediately waves his hand and scolds her directly in the face. "How dare you talk back to royalty? Do my words sound like a joke to you?" Just then, the Empress appears. She speaks. To stop him, "Dave, that is enough. That girl is not a commoner. You must apologize," the second prince says indignantly. Seeing the Empress appear, Chalia feels a bit apprehensive. Damn it, the Empress is here. Things are starting to get troublesome now. Cammy steps to her son's side and says, "Dave, it seems you have mistaken that young lady. She is Chalia Fraser of Grand Duke Frazier's lineage." He gasps in astonishment. "What? That mediocre thing is the young lady of Grand Duke Fraser." Hearing this, Chalia feels angry. Does that mediocre thing and that crude way of speaking fit royalty? Dave puts his hand to his face, feigning regret. "It is truly a pity that things turned out like this," he says. "Young lady, I did not know you belonged to the Grand Duke." Suddenly, Dave's voice turns mocking. "It is just that your appearance is too mediocre. Next time we meet, make sure to act accordingly." Before he can finish his sentence, a stern voice interrupts him. "You are the one who is impolite, Your Highness." Grand Duke Frazier pulls his granddaughter into his arms and loudly lectures the person opposite them. A prince, who by right should know the list of nobles, does not recognize the only granddaughter of the Fraser family. Is that something to be proud of? This action of his surprises Chalia greatly. "When did grandfather get here?" "Dave," the prince gasps. Grand Duchess Frazier cuts him off. "You should feel ashamed of your ignorance. What are you smiling so confidently for?" He frowns and scoffs. "It must be because you lack proper upbringing. Is that it?" Seeing the Grand Duke's anger, Cammy quickly steps forward to explain. "Grand Duke Frazier, please calm down. Whether they are royalty or the child of a marquis, the children have not yet debuted in society. It is just a minor misunderstanding, a childish bicker. Why don't we let this matter slide?" The Empress smiles, acting friendly, but her words carry a different tone. She says, "The Emperor will also be displeased if he hears of this." Chalia asks herself, is she bringing up the Emperor to threaten us? She looks gentle on the outside, but she is telling him to stop. However, Grand Duke Frazier quickly sees through her intention. He speaks with a hint of disdain, perhaps because the person sitting in that position is unworthy. Their words are so mediocre. Hearing these words, the Empress's face immediately darkens. Aziz shows no fear. He asserts firmly, "Even royalty cannot insult the family of the Grand Duke. If you do not apologize properly right here, I will personally report this to the Emperor." Chalia feels extremely shocked. I know he hates Cammy because of the affair, but I didn't expect him to react this strongly. Looking at the Grand Duke's unyielding gaze, the Empress finally backs down. She calls Dave. He starts and replies, "Yes, mother." "Empress," Cammy smiles gently and says to her son, "Apologize to the Grand Duke immediately, and apologize to Lady Chalia Fraser as well." Dave looks at his mother with dissatisfaction in his eyes, but he still steps forward and bows. "I bow my head in apology, Grand Duke lady. Please generously forgive my terrible behavior." In her heart, Chalia marvels. The power of the Grand Duke is indeed terrifying, to make them bow their heads so quickly. I should leave before getting into more trouble. She says cheerfully, I have also been discourteous. If permitted, we shall take our leave. Suddenly, the Empress calls out, Wait, Lady Chalia, I also wish to offer my apologies alongside my son. She takes out a beautifully patterned hairpin, places it in her hand, and says, This is a gemstone-studded hairpin. Chalia exclaims in a slightly surprised voice, Empress Cami is trying to butter me up. You will certainly grow up to be a great beauty. This is an early gift for you, the future jewel of high society. Please do not hesitate. Please accept it. Chalia knows all too well that she wants to smooth over the recent incident with a hairpin. If she were here alone, this matter would certainly not have ended so peacefully. With Chalia's base stats, this should have been a life-threatening situation. She clutches the hairpin tightly in her hand and tells herself, I must work even harder. I absolutely cannot let such a thing happen a second time. Right now. I have nothing to my name. I must find a way to earn some savings by any means. Chalia smiles, acting delighted. She turns to ask the Grand Duke, Grandfather, this hairpin looks very expensive. Should I accept this gift? If I do, will it bring shame to the Grand Duke's house? Seemingly knowing that Chalia is mocking her, Cami feels irritated and curses inwardly that brat. Seeing his granddaughter seems to like the item, as he says, Just do as you wish. After finishing their tour of the White Ivory Tower, Chalia and the others board the carriage to return to the mansion. Looking at the clear sky, she exclaims, How lucky that the rain stops by the time we arrive. Chalia says to the Grand Duke, Ah, that is right. It seems Sus will stay at the White Ivory Tower from now on. He says he is very sad he cannot return with us. Aziz replies, Of course, he has been chosen as the Crown Prince's tutor, so he will be very busy starting today. Today is also the day he returns to that place and his last day living outside. The Grand Duke folds his arms across his chest, looks intently at his granddaughter and asks, What is it? Are you worried about him? Chalia flinches. She hastily replies, What? No, grandfather, do not read too much into it. Aziz coughs and says, If not, then good. He suddenly asks Chalia, Why did you keep glancing at me earlier? He is referring to the moment she asked if she could accept the hairpin. The Grand Duke asks, Did you do that because you were worried I would be angry? Chalia utters a soft ah, wondering silently why is he suddenly asking that. Her eyes flicker slightly. Could the Grand Duke be worried that Chalia is wary of him? She recalls her grandfather's stern demeanor when he spoke to Dave. A prince who should know the list of nobles does not recognize the only granddaughter of the Fraser family. Is that something to be proud of? His hand tightly gripping Chalia's shoulder at that moment gave her a sense of protection. If he really cares for her, she feels truly warmed. Chalia smiles happily and replies, Why do you think that? I am your granddaughter, so of course I must prioritize your thoughts first. Her words make the Grand Duke fall silent for a moment. No one can guess what is behind that calm face. A moment later, Aziz asks Chalia, What is your impression of the Empress? She replies hesitantly, Well, the Empress is indeed elegant and beautiful, but fitting for the highest position of the empire, she seems cold and completely devoid of affection. The Grand Duke says, Cold and fitting for the highest position. Chalia, you must remember this. A truly noble person is one who can carry absolute integrity in their heart, great ambition and a dignified aura throughout their life. Expensive jewelry or social etiquette are only secondary. Hearing these words from him, Chalia ponders for a moment and then blurt out, Just like grandmother. Grand Duke Frazier is very surprised. He flashes a rare smile and says happily, Yes, just like your grandmother. At this moment, the system notifies, System, you have reached 90% or higher favorability with Aziz Frazier and received a special benefit of 1,000 coins. Character information, Chalia Fraser. Trait, none. Skill, 1. Appearance, 8. Luck, none. Assets, none. Overall rank, D+. Current coins, 1,293 coins. Chalia feels highly satisfied. Great, the Grand Duke's favorability is steadily increasing. Now for the achievement reward this time. The system displays another notification. System, new benefit received. System bank deposit benefit. Deposit for 7 days to earn 10% interest. After reviewing the details, Chalia finds the system bank's interest rate to be quite decent. She ponders for a long time. From skill titles to the savings feature, she has not raised anyone else's favorability yet, so she does not dare to be too confident. Her ultimate goal right now is merely survival. To do that, the first thing she must do is win the favorability of the main characters. If she wants to survive in this game, she needs more cards to play when things get difficult. The next people she needs to meet are Chalia's twin older brothers. They are truly difficult to deal with. In the game, they were never on good terms with her. She has tried to improve their relationship by sending letters, greetings, and updates, but she has never received a reply. Even so, they are about to return to the main mansion. Lilius and his twin brother, Nigel, are starting to make moves again. She once used their votes in the family council for her own benefit, so they will probably use that as an excuse to oppose her. Chalia does not feel very confident. This time, she does not have a clear plan yet, but she will just try. The next morning at the main Fraser mansion, the sound of horse hooves stops in front of the gate. A cheerful voice rings out. "It has been so long since we last returned here." "Right, Rijan?" The twin brothers are Rijan Fraser, the eldest son of the Marquis Fraser family and Chalia's older brother, and Leon Fraser, the second son of the Marquis Fraser family and Chalia's older brother. Leon stares at the paper in his hand and gasps. "I planned to take my time returning, but Uncle kept insisting there is an urgent matter. I wonder what it is. Has Father returned already?" He jumps off his horse and says casually, "Well, we will find out after meeting Uncle. Let us go." Inside, the main gate is silent with not a soul in sight. Leon feels annoyed. Still no one here to greet us? Suddenly, his eyes show a hint of surprise. Chalia opens the door, steps out slowly, and says cheerfully, "Hello, brothers." She lifts her dress slightly in a bow of greeting. "Long time no see." Rijan and Leon are completely astonished, only managing to utter "you" before freezing. Seeing their attitude, Chalia thinks to herself, just as I predicted, the twins have returned to the Fraser mansion. And of course they look visibly annoyed, which is understandable. Seeing the sister they hate the most coming out to greet them in person is indeed not pleasant at all. But what can she do? She is desperate too. Leon snaps, already irritated from being called back urgently. "And now the person greeting us is you? Whatever is going on, stay away from me." Chalia still smiles brightly, thinking to herself, as expected, their hostility runs this deep. Raising his favorability will be a massive challenge, but I have prepared myself mentally. Who am I? I am Honey, the wordmaster. I know exactly how to handle Leon. It is very simple. Chalia suddenly says, "Fine, I will speak casually just like you want." She stares directly at Leon's face and asks, "Satisfied? Tit for tat. To handle a rude person, one must behave like that. To outsiders, I must look like I am crazy, but there is a reason behind it." Looking at Leon's furious state, Chalia assesses that Leon's storyline depends on straightforwardness. Pretending or acting nice will only make the points plummet drastically. She feels that honestly she prefers this style anyway. No need to fake it, just say whatever she wants to say. "Great, bring it on, you rude guy." Chalia turns to ask the eldest brother, "What about you?" "Is speaking casually fine, Rijan?" He replies softly, "Just call me whatever you feel comfortable with." Chalia feels very surprised. Oh, is he even smiling? This is the first time Chalia has struck a deal with her brother. "Very well then, Rijan," she tells herself. Perhaps talking to Rijan won't be as bad as I thought. That night, Chalia examines the system. A notification shows that she is utilizing the system bank benefit to make a deposit. She thinks to herself, "Great, this gives me peace of mind. A 10% interest rate in just 1 week. If only I could use these banks anytime, that would be amazing." Chalia takes a sip of tea. "Maybe one day I can even buy favorability points with coins. That is quite a pipe dream." She places the cup on the table. Now asterisk. I just need to prepare for what lies ahead. Chalia approaches her 2 older brothers. She previously tried to chat more with the twins, but Leon always ruined it. He grumbled, "Why are you talking to that brat?" and quickly dragged Rijan inside. Chalia is annoyed. How dare he call me that brat? Because of Leon's interference, I made absolutely no progress. It is almost dinner time now. Lilius will certainly seize this opportunity to approach the 2 of them. She has never dined with Lilius before. He will definitely exploit the chance to badmouth her and feed all sorts of things into the brothers' heads. He might even bring up the matter of her using their votes in the council. In that case, what she must do is crystal clear. Everyone quickly gathers in the dining room. Lilius is quick to ask, "You boys must be tired after your journey. I heard you met Chalia earlier. How are things with her lately? I heard she caused trouble again." Leon replies, "What caused trouble? It isn't that serious." Aubrey chimes in with her husband. Of course, that uneducated brat caused trouble again. Lilius warns his wife, "My dear, calm down." He puts his spoon down on the table and says in a stern voice, "In any case, you must be wondering why I called you back so urgently. It is time you know. The matter concerns your sister Chalia. Did you know that she dared to use proxy votes under your names? Abusing authority like that is truly shameless and arrogant beyond belief." Lilius adopts the tone of an elder. "So, I want to help her correct that terrible attitude. Even if you are not very close, no one wants their only sister to become a ruined person, right? You should witness it with your own eyes." Hearing these words from their uncle, Leon falls silent for a moment, not knowing what to say. Suddenly, a voice rings out from outside the door. "Then why don't you also tell them exactly what that vote was about, uncle?" Lilius turns around in surprise. Why does this voice sound so familiar? Chalia stands by the doorway, slowly explaining. "You two need to understand the full context before teaching me a lesson, right?" She casually steps into the room, looking extremely confident and completely fearless. Chalia secretly thinks her next move is already decided. She will stick to the plan. She looks at Lilius and asks, "Are you planning to skip the part where you almost sold grandmother's fields for profit?" Chalia tells herself that before they can make up stories to blame her, she will bring the truth to light first and let them make fools of themselves. Chalia smiles suggestively. "Are you planning to skip that detail as well? Oh, and the matter of how you two plan to turn the plain grandmother cherishes the most into a horse racetrack." Lilius is completely shocked. "Chalia Fraser, what are you doing here?" She casually replies, "To have dinner. Is there any reason why I cannot join the family meal?" Chalia feels even more certain. Just as she thought, Lilius is framing her. This situation is not easy to handle, but her only option is to play along. System, skill-activated wordmaster, minus 5% chance of a slip of the tongue, plus 10% persuasion. This boosts her confidence. With the active skill wordmaster in effect this time, she will definitely win. She will never let Lilius get what he wants. Chalia boldly states that the meeting that day was to discuss the commercialization of the States plain. "As you both know, that is the land grandmother cherishes deeply. I do not think such an important matter should be decided by only a few direct descendants, because that day, only my two uncles and I were present. You both knew there was a meeting of the direct line, but the contents were kept secret, so you didn't know what it was about, right? That is why I could not write down the exact details in the letter. Since you both never replied, I had no choice but to use proxy voting on your behalf. If I made you both uncomfortable, I apologize." Leon cannot help but slam the table and stand up. "What kind of nonsense logic is that?" A hand suddenly reaches out to stop his next move. Ren gently warns Leon. Hearing the call, he looks down. Leon suppresses his anger, sits back down, and asks in a low voice, "Really?" Ren tries to explain. "Are you kidding? I always replied to your letters, 17 times, in fact." Chalia is astonished. "What? I didn't receive a single letter at all." Her eyebrows suddenly furrow. "Ah, don't tell me that both the letters sent on my behalf and the letters sent to me are first received by my guardian." The only person who could secretly intercept the letters is her guardian. Chalia looks straight at Lilius and demands, "Please explain, uncle." He gets flustered and stammers upon being called out. "Ah, well, because you kids don't get along, I only wanted to keep the peace. Don't misunderstand. Isn't it better to meet face to face and talk?" Now she sighs helplessly. Of course, there is no way he would just sit still. She did not expect Rison to actually reply to those torn letters. If Chalia had been close to the twins, she would have suspected this long ago. She is so angry that she wants to interrogate him right now, but too many people are watching, so she cannot afford to act rashly. Now that his tricks are exposed, he won't take any more risks. He will only try to deflect and wait for another opportunity. She needs to calm down. With that thought, Chalia speaks up. "Yes, I understand your good intentions, uncle, but from now on you don't need to go to such lengths. I can handle it myself." Lilius coughs dryly and nods. "Yes, I understand. I only brought up the meeting of the direct descendants to let the two brothers know. After all, it involves their voting rights, so they should at least be informed. You no, I didn't mean anything else, right?" Leon and Ren say in unison. "Yes, uncle." She fumes inwardly. What a liar. He was just planning to teach her a lesson a moment ago, yet now he is quickly covering up everything. Chalia then steals a glance toward where her two Brothers are sitting. In any case, she never expected Ren Fraser to have replied to all of her letters. Does he really have a bad relationship with Chalia? She must try to talk to him. The next day, as she walks down the hallway, she begins to reminisce. In the game, Risen and Chalia barely talk, unlike Leon, who always argues loudly. Riss has no prominent storyline, so she assumed he was just ignoring and neglecting Chalia. Perhaps, just like the grandfather's situation, there is some hidden lore she doesn't know yet. If she can uncover it, it will be easier to approach Leon. The game states that Ren often appears in the library. Just as she thinks of this, a voice comes from ahead. Chalia is immediately certain. Ah, that's right, it's Riss's voice. He really is in the library. Following that, a voice filled with annoyance rings out. Ah, so frustrating. Ryan tries to convey, that is a book. The librarian covers his face in annoyance. Young master, please speak clearly. How can I understand when you stutter like that? Chalia is bewildered. What is this? A servant dares to yell at Ryan just because he stutters. Why is Risen just standing there taking it? She cannot suppress her anger and clenches her fists. Just watching this makes her want to explode. He hands over a piece of paper. Can you just write it down here? This is so frustrating, isn't it? Lady Chalia. At this moment, she steps forward with her arms crossed and demands, is this the attitude of a librarian of the Fraser family? You dare use that tone? With the eldest grandson of the direct line, panicking, he quickly stands up to explain, my lady, it's not like that. I only wanted to clarify his request. She turns around coldly. Do you take the masters of this duchy for fools, daring to lie so blatantly? You severely lack manners. I will have someone handle this. The librarian hurriedly begs, I was wrong, my lady. Chalia suddenly stops in her tracks. Actually, there's no need to call anyone. She looks straight at him and declares, you are fired. This duchy has no need for someone rude to their master, so scram right now. Immediately after, the library at the main headquarters is nearly turned upside down. Before Chalia's wrath, the two bow subserviently. We apologize, we were wrong. The head librarian personally apologizes on behalf of the other, and that insolent librarian is immediately dismissed. Risen only says it's fine, as if he has no self-respect. But is he truly fine? Only Risen knows. She feels much better after firing that librarian. Seriously, whether in novels or games, why are there always such thoughtless servants? After searching for a while, she cheers, ah, I found it. Is this the book you are looking for? Ren takes it. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Chalia, and thank you for getting angry on my behalf as well. Chalia blushes slightly. Why didn't you scold him from the start? He upset you, he hesitatingly explains, because I know I am very annoying. She immediately comforts him. You are not annoying at all, don't say that. And no matter the reason, he is not allowed to treat you like that. Ren silently looks at Chalia for a few seconds, then suddenly says, and I think you look the most like Mother. She is stunned. I look like Mother, he nods. Yes, Mother came from the summer continent, right? Just like the people from that region, she was strong, radiant, and very kind-hearted. You look very much like her. Saying this, he smiles again. Looking at that smile, she blushes. Risen, Chalia suddenly thinks. Since he talks to her like this, does Ren truly view Chalia as family? But until now, Ren has never spoken up when Chalia was reprimanded. In the end, is there something else? She doesn't know yet, seeing her spaced out. Ren calls out softly, Chalia. He anxiously grabs her hand. Are you okay? Your fingers are so cold. Are you unwell? Do we need to call a doctor? Chalia remains silent for a moment, then gathers her courage to bring up the letters. I am sorry for misunderstanding. Thinking you were ignoring me. It must have been hard to write them while being so busy. Because of my carelessness, I didn't receive them. Hearing this, Risen happily proposes, if you agree, can I recite those letters to you? She is surprised. Huh, but how? Uncle must have taken all the letters. He smiles brightly. It is fine because I remember them all. I will recount what I wrote to you. Chalia stands frozen with her mouth wide open, her eyes filled with disbelief. Oh my God, all of that, and he says he memorized it all. To my beloved younger sister, Chalia, I am delighted to receive your letter. I am still busy with my academy studies, but whenever the pages of my books are warmed by the sunlight filtering through the window, a sense of peace creeps into a corner of my heart. After reciting the contents of the letters, Risen flashes a radiant smile. I sent letters like that? Chalia's jaw drops in shock. Oh my God, does he really? Remember the entire content of those letters. Thinking she couldn't hear him clearly, he cannot help but feel flustered. Was it hard to understand because I kept stuttering, but I still wanted to make you feel better? Chalia quickly explains. No, thank you so much. Thanks to you, I feel much better. Ryan suddenly remembers something. Also, Chalia, about the proxy voting yesterday. If you are planning to ask if I am fine with it, of course I would have told you to do so anyway. Thank you for working so hard alone. Hearing this, Chalia is completely stunned. What on earth is wrong with Ren? She wasn't even that sad about not getting a reply. Besides, she is not even his biological sister. Why is he acting like this? Wait, speaking of which, she recalls the words from the main quest. System displayed back then, except for one person. No one loves you. Chalia looks at the person in front of her with a flash of suspicion. Is that single person Ren? No, she must. Check his favorability immediately. System, do you want to check Ren Fraser's favorability? 500 coins will be deducted from the system bank. Character importance, 5 stars. Yes, no. Chalia presses yes. System, 500 coins deducted. Loading. She silently gulps while waiting for the results, after a brief wait. When she sees the displayed stat, Chalia's heart silently shatters. The stat bar above Rissen's head displays 85%. She is completely bewildered. Light blue and 85%. Back then, she was too flustered by grandfather to look closely, but this bar is indeed the game's favorability bar. In the game, red means hostile. A supporting character's favorability is green, while blue belongs to the male lead. And when the final ending is completed, the male lead's bar will glow bright gold. Radiantly, if Rissen were the only person who loved her, it should have been glowing gold by now. But currently it is only blue and hovering in midair. That means Rissen is not that person. Chalia is so spaced out that she doesn't notice him looking at her. Anxiously, he calls out, Chalia. She snaps out of it. What is it, Brother Ryan? Rissen asks, confused. Chalia, why are you spacing out? Are you okay? She shakes her head. Sorry, I was just letting my mind wander. Hearing this, Ryan suddenly gets an idea. That's right. You are a bit disappointed because I only recited the letters, right? Then let me rewrite them for you. He suddenly picks up a piece of paper. Chalia breaks into a cold sweat. Right here. Right now, Ren happily pens down each letter, to my beloved younger sister. She quickly stops him. Rissen, you don't need to go that far. Writing a letter right in front of someone is embarrassingly awkward. How bizarre. While Chalia is left speechless by this, the sound of footsteps suddenly echoes. A rather grumpy voice rings out, What are you two doing? She turns around in surprise. The newcomer walks in, maintaining his usual sarcastic tone. Brother, I told you not to associate with trash like her. Seeing the face of the person who just entered, Chalia is shocked. Leon Fraser, trash, did you just call me trash, you bastard? Ren gently warns Leon, but he remains arrogant. What, did I say something wrong? She fumes. What an incredibly gentle tone, calling someone trash. If she weren't trying to farm favorability points, she would have exploded. Right away, it's better to just answer quickly and kick him out. With that thought, Chalia prepares to speak. Before she can finish, Ren cuts in, Leon. Don't be like that. Don't speak to Chalia that way. She is our younger sister. A look of surprise flashes across Leon's face. He suddenly scoffs. Younger sister? What joke is this? Don't tell me that thing is the letter our dear young uncle supposedly stole. And you actually bother to sit down and rewrite it? How cute. Leon picks up the half-written letter. This is truly useless. Without hesitation, he tears it to shreds. Chalia freezes, her eyes widening as if frozen. In time, Rissen turns pale, his lips pressed tight. Leon drops the shredded paper with complete indifference. Oops, my hand slipped and tore it. Brother, how long do you plan to pretend you don't know about the rumors? Both high society and the academy are flooded with rumors that her father is different from ours. So drop this pathetic happy family act. A sharp slap rings out. Rissen, the deliverer of the slap, says coldly, Leon, you are out of line. Blindsided by the hit, Leon pauses for a moment, then slowly raises his hand to touch his cheek. His lips curl up into a mocking smirk. What is this? Now you dare to fight back against me? Hey, you must be very happy, right? Everyone in this house protects only you. Hearing those words, Chalia frowns in displeasure. She scoffs inwardly. The whole family protects only her, even though everything about Chalia, even though her living environment is much better than her life before she transmigrated here. That bastard of a young uncle forced her into debt, exploited her, sneered at her in every way, and constantly slandered her. As for that damn father of hers, he has never once appeared, and even hates her so much that he wants her dead. The whole family protects only her. He knows absolutely nothing about her. Every single word read from the system is deeply engraved in Chalia's mind. System, you are trash with no money, no luck, and hated by everyone. Except for one person, no one loves you. Until now, she still doesn't know who that single person in the main quest is, as even Rison, who is so kind to her, is not the one. But one undeniable truth is that at this moment Leon Fraser is absolutely not that single person. She wonders if Leon could be that person. If so, she will freeze to death. Yet she still has to gain the favorability of a person whose stat is almost impossible to raise. She knows very well that if she wants to survive, she must show him her good side. Myself, but enduring these harsh words, his words just now, "Brother, I told you don't get involved with her kind. Rumor has it that she doesn't resemble our father at all." I hate this reality. Even with someone like him, I still have to pull him to my side. Ever since I live under the name Chalia, the small wounds carved into me never disappear. They just remain deep in my heart. I think I endure it well, but for some reason they refuse to stay quiet today. Finally, Chalia speaks up in frustration. "Leon, I really don't understand why you hate me so much." He scowls. "What, you really don't know, or should I throw you down and make it crystal clear?" She almost screams. "Stop picking on me." Leon freezes. "Huh," Chalia tearfully expresses herself. I just don't want to be hurt anymore, especially by my own family." After saying this, she turns and runs away without hesitation. Ryan watches her anxiously. Leon is still confused at this moment. "What's wrong with her?" Ryan hesitantly speaks up. "Leon, you know what she is feeling," but he irritably cuts him off. "What do I know? You are even busy defending her. You know everything, yet you still do this. Mother abandoned us to run after him, another man." Hearing that, Ryan can't say anything more. His face falls, filled with a sadness he cannot hide. In Leon's memories, Mother always gently holds his hand and whispers, "Leon, my beloved son," yet that very same woman heartlessly lets go. "I am truly sorry." On night more than 10 years ago, during a full moon, a young Leon suddenly wakes up and catches his mother leaving. "Mother." He rubs his eyes and asks in a daze, "Mother, where are you going? Are you going really far? Can I come with you, Mother?" She turns to look at Leon, her voice trembling. "Leon, I'm sorry, I can't take you with me. I must protect Chalia, but never forget that I love both of you." He freezes, his eyes flashing with hurt. "Why are you abandoning us? Why? Are you only taking Chalia?" "No, Mother, don't go. We also told you that we love you. Please, Mother." Leon tries to reach out with his tiny hand toward the receding figure. "Please don't go, Mother." And just like that, Mother abandons us and takes Chalia with her. Beside Mother is a strange man, not our father. Not long after, Mother passes away, and he moves in to live with us. But we never understand why Mother had to protect Chalia. What remains is only the humiliation of Mother's affair and a younger sister who leaves us carrying an inexplicable resentment. In the present, Ryan frowns slightly and reproaches, "There are countless rumors after that. I didn't expect you to mistreat Chalia. But the truth is, she does nothing wrong. Chalia is clearly the biological child of both mother and father." Leon admits. I know, I am just taking my anger out on her. But the truth is, Mother abandoned us. I can never like her." He suddenly falls into thought. "Right, I think she can just casually ignore us and live happily on her own." But what is that expression of hers just now? Strange, after leaving the library, Chalia holds her head in exhaustion. "I just yelled at his face in anger, yet now I am worrying about survival. I should try checking his favorability. How pathetic." The system pops up a notification. System cooldown activated for checking Leon Fraser's favorability. Cooldown remaining, 6 days, 5 hours. However, you can pay 100 coins to check immediately. Do you wish to proceed? Yes, no. She breaks into a cold sweat reading the content. Even favorability checks have a cooldown. It's probably because I just checked Ryan's favorability level. Chalia dejectedly sits on the chair. Whatever, Leon's favorability is probably at rock bottom anyway. Why waste coins? Am I being too emotional? Even though we are family, this is just a story in a game. No, even so, how am I supposed to face this mess of emotions? Ultimately, she decides to ignore it. For now, it is best to avoid Leon as much as possible. Suddenly, a ding echoes as the system sounds. The screen displays. System subquest activated. Quest Banquet Master. Sub-objective. Successfully dance with Rison Fraser and Leon Fraser at the upcoming banquet. Reward unknown. Failure, penalty of 10,000 coins. Chalia is stunned. What her entire attention focuses on the sub-objective line. Successfully dance with Rison Fraser and Leon Fraser at the upcoming banquet. She is bewildered. Dance with the twins? I have to dance with Leon too, and I just lost my temper with him. Chalia cannot help but wail. Why are you treating me like this? Meanwhile, at the palace, Ferdinand is fingering a white handkerchief while a subordinate reports beside him. Your Highness, the preparations for the meeting are complete. Should we depart? He nods. Understood, I am coming. Having finished the report, Ferdinand gazes thoughtfully at the object in his hand. I can no longer feel anything from this handkerchief. Could its power be fading over time? The longer I keep Lady Fraser's handkerchief with me, the more the ringing in my ears and the agonizing pain subside. I once suspected some trickery and even asked the temple to examine it, but the temple staff replied that it is just a normal handkerchief, so there is no asterisk. Magic involved, then what did she do to soothe my condition? An illness that has no effective cure. Could she really have a way to treat it? He suddenly speaks up. I really want to meet her again before the symptoms relapse, but I must soon march to the front lines. Time is running out. The Crown Prince's subordinate bows slightly and reports, Your Highness, the Grand Duke's birthday banquet is coming up. During the day, there will be a hunting festival and in the evening a banquet. Ferdinand rests his face on his hand, narrowing his eyes. Will the entire Fraser family gather there? Perfect. Make the preparations. At the Grand Duke's mansion, the servants are currently bustling with preparations for the upcoming birthday banquet. Chalia marvels to herself. Wow, everyone is so busy. Well, it makes sense since it is grandfather's birthday party. Huh. Of course, I am busy too. She recalls asking the system for another quest or a way to reduce the penalty. Since she doesn't want to dance with Leon, isn't there another way? But it doesn't respond, even though she promised to work hard. Yet the status screen remains completely silent, leaving her with no way to avoid it. If I can't refuse, I must find a way to dance with Leon. But he always disappears after causing trouble, and I can't find him anywhere, leaving no chance to make a plan. Even Ryan doesn't. No, what should I do now? Chalia is lost in thought, unaware that in a corner, two sets of footsteps are approaching as eyes watch her. Hey, look over there, see her? Oh. That's right, one is Tedric and the other is Gans Fraser, the son of Nigel Fraser. He asks, did she get locked up for picking a fight with you? Yes. Tedric replies. Gans curls his lips with a calculating smirk. She didn't even dare to speak up in front of brother before, but now she is so bold. Should we show her our strength in the most interesting way possible? Time passes and it is now the morning of the banquet's opening ceremony. Chalia's voice rings out with some surprise. You say grandfather is busy and won't attend the hunting festival. At least he should attend the evening banquet. I am so worried. He is always buried in work. Saying this, she glances toward the area where the banquet is being prepared. Anyway, asterisk. The hunting festival is about to start. Where on earth is he? Thinking of Leon's scowling face, Chalia feels annoyed again. Is he planning to not show up at all? If we must dance together at the banquet, we should at least talk a bit. At this rate, asterisk. I will definitely head straight to a miserable end. Please just show your face once. Odal looks at her, worried by her exhausted appearance. She hesitantly asks, My lady, you like those cookies the Grand Duke gave you last time, right? Chalia reflexively answers, cookies? Yes, indeed. Why do you ask? Odal says, I remember you liked them, so I kept some. Since you look so tired, I thought sweets might help a little. She reassures her, it's fine. Don't worry too much. I can still manage. Odal smiles determinedly. No, how about I go get them? Seeing you happy is my joy. If I can help even a little, I am glad. Hearing this, Chalia cannot help but be touched. Odal lifts her skirt and bows happily. I will return right away. She wants to stop her. Wait, but Odal is already far away. Chalia sighs in her heart. I must look really pathetic. Sorry for making you worry. I can't let her keep worrying about me like this. I will join the event. First, maybe Ryan can help. Just then, the system suddenly alerts. System subquest activated. Quest, gather herbs in the pine forest. Reward, Leon summon scroll. She is slightly startled. Where did this subquest come from? Chalia's eyes freeze on the reward. Line, the Leon summon scroll. What a nice reward. Without hesitation, she reaches into her skirt pocket and pulls out her gloves. After putting them on, Chalia is full of hope. This is an offer I can't refuse. She heads toward the forest alone to gather herbs. Chalia is completely unaware that someone is quietly watching her from behind, their lips curling into a mysterious smirk. Before long, she finishes gathering a bundle of herbs. All right, now I'm good to go. The way back isn't too hard either. The moment she turns around, Chalia's eyes suddenly widen. In front of her, heavy footsteps echo, mixed with low growls. A pack of wild beasts is approaching. They move in a horde, their eyes glowing red as if driven mad. One by one, they bare their fangs, opening their mouths to reveal sharp teeth, ready to attack. Wild beasts! Chalia trembles and steps back. What's going on? There aren't usually any wild beasts or monsters around here. Why is this suddenly happening? I must escape carefully. Don't provoke them. The wild beast silently observes for a few seconds, and then it suddenly charges forward, opening its drooling mouth toward her. Damn it. Watching it draw closer, Chalia feels a surge of despair. With no way out, at the crucial moment, an arrow flies out of nowhere, piercing straight through the wild beast. She immediately turns toward the direction of the arrow. Who shot that? At the same time, someone steps forward and remarks, Geez, that's not what you should say, is it? You should thank me for saving your life. Seeing him, Chalia is utterly shocked. Gans, she digs through her memory. Gans Fraser, a minor character, who only appears briefly in the sweet facade. He is the illegitimate son of Chalia's uncle, Nigel, and his mistress, making him a relative from Chalia's branch family and a close companion. To Tedric, he is described as a rather suspicious character. Could it be that he lured these wild beasts here to play tricks on me? She secretly clenches her fists. Damn it, how do I escape? Gans calmly shrugs. Surprised, we prepared everything. We scattered the scent that beasts love along the path you're taking. With that, he suddenly draws his bow and points it at her in a threatening manner. Chalia Fraser, you only have two choices. Either kneel and beg us so you can survive or die. Now make your choice. What is it going to be? Chalia struggles internally. I was once willing to do anything to survive, but no, she flatly refuses. Gans leans over, raising his hand to his ear as if he didn't hear clearly. What did you say? Say it again. She maintains her cold, unwavering expression. Go to hell, kneeling to you guys just to survive? I'd rather die than do that. Tedric bursts into laughter while Gans shrugs. Stubborn, aren't we? I knew you'd be like this. Fine, suit yourself. Either way, you will soon regret not kneeling and begging us. With that, they both turn away. Gans even waves triumphantly. Goodbye, Chalia. The pack of wild beasts closes in on her again. Chalia curses silently. Damn it, do they really not care if Chalia lives or dies? Fools, don't they know this will backfire on them? Just try me. She tightens her grip on the dry branch in her hand. Facing the wild beasts, though she is terrified, Chalia forces herself into a defensive stance. I have no intention of just standing here. The wild dogs viciously open their large mouths, revealing sharp teeth as they charge at her. Chalia tries to stay calm. They're here. Right at that moment, a tall figure leaps forward with a whoosh, shouting loudly, Chalia. The tall silhouette charges, pushing her behind his back. Get back. Chalia stands frozen, her eyes wide. Leon, what is he doing here? Leon brandishes his sword, shielding Chalia from the pack of aggressive wolves that are growling, waiting for an opportunity to pounce and attack. Chalia thinks in astonishment, why is Leon here? Clearly, when I looked for him earlier, I couldn't find him at all. Leon suddenly speaks up. Is this Tedric and Gans's doing? Chalia is surprised by his words. How do you know? Leon recalls and says, I saw those guys stalking you. They looked suspicious, so I followed them. I thought there was no way, absolutely no way. But I didn't expect things to really get this messy. Who allowed you to wander around in a place like this without a guard? Because of you, I've been dragged into this. Can't you stay still for even a single second? Chalia tightly grips the branch in her hand and hesitantly says, I just wanted to see you. Leon frowns, asking her in a stern voice, what are you talking about? Suddenly, Chalia's eyes widen in alarm. Ah, watch out! She screams his name in panic as she sees the wolf's fierce claws swinging toward him. Leon R. Are you okay, Leon? I'm sorry I said some weird things. Leon irritably touches the claw wound on his arm and says, It's not the first time you've talked nonsense. Forget it, let's get out of here quickly. Disbelieving, she says to him, What are you saying? How can I just run and leave you behind? Leon angrily yells at her, Just listen to me. I told you to stay back. Chalia's eyes hold complex emotions at Leon's attitude and actions. She softly murmurs, Leon. She thinks to herself, something is. This is bad. His words are harsh, but his actions say the opposite. He charges forward to attack the wolves and successfully kills one. But the wolf pack is too numerous and aggressive, forcing her to think of a solution. Calm down, Chalia. At this rate, both of them will die. She must do something to help Leon. Suddenly, an idea flashes in her mind when she sees an arrow lodged in the wolf next to her. Leon thinks in frustration, Damn it, these beasts just won't give up. At this rate, Chalia is in danger too. Before it is too late, I must at least get her out of here. Standing behind him, Chalia suddenly screams, Leon, get out of the way! Her sudden shout leaves him both startled and confused. Leon turns around to see Chalia stabbing an arrow hard into the wolf's neck. He screams in terror. Chalia, what are you doing? I told you to run. She turns her head and says resolutely to Leon, How can I run and leave you? Behind alone, I will never leave by myself. Leon is stunned, but his voice softens. You really are. Suddenly, his eyes widen in shock. Leon screams in panic at Chalia, Hey, behind you, watch out! She thinks in a panic, Oh no! Suddenly, a sharp sword slash swings through the air. Swish! The wolf is sent flying by the strike, blood staining its fur red. A man suddenly appears and asks softly, Are you all right? Chalia is startled when she hears this voice. This voice! When she turns her head, she sees a man of noble appearance with a face carved by God himself. Chalia is astonished by his sudden appearance. Your Highness, the Crown Prince. Ferdinand's gaze is sharp and cold as he warns them, You two back up. He swings his sword and charges forward, fiercely killing the aggressive wolves. She is stunned by his sudden appearance. Why is he here? Besides, the Crown Prince is not on today's attendance list. Why did he show up? Suddenly, Chalia feels dizzy and gasps, Ah! Then she thinks, Well, whatever the reason with him here, I can put my mind at ease a little. Chalia faints and collapses to the surprise and panic of the other two. Chalia. Through the window, the sunlight shines. Into the room, she wakes up dazed. This is my room, Leon speaks. Up when he sees she is awake. You are finally awake. After screaming your head off and refusing to listen to a word I said, the one who fainted. First was you, pathetic, absolutely pathetic. She looks at him in slight surprise and speaks hesitantly. Leon, what? What happened? Seeing her bewildered face, he replies with a hint of annoyance. You ask that? You fainted right when His Highness appeared, so you missed the sight of those wild dogs running away with their tails tucked. Seriously, I knew it. You were trembling so hard holding that bow and arrow, of course you would faint. How ridiculous. Looking at his mocking face, she feels a bit annoyed. You jerk, Chalia asks. That is enough. Where is His Highness? Leon softly replies, In another room. He said he does not need the royal physician. He only wants to rest. She murmurs, Is that so? Feeling secretly relieved. At least the Crown Prince is safe, she says. That is a relief then. Leon only looks at her in silence, saying nothing. Suddenly, the system panel pops up. System, Leon Fraser's favorability has exceeded 50%. The high increase in favorability surprises Chalia. She thinks in shock, It suddenly rose to 50%. Even 5% would be strange, so how did it leap to 50%? The system screen displays a notification. System, you have received a benefit. Playback beginning. The memories of that day? Chalia thinks. So there is a reward this time too. Will it replay the past just like it did with grandfather? Leon stands with his arms crossed, silently watching Chalia's dazed expression without saying a word. Then he sighs as if compromising on something. Leon speaks up, breaking the silence. Risen and grandfather are both very worried about you. She stammers in response. Really? He speaks softly. If your mother were still alive, she would probably be very worried about you too. Seeing his pensive expression, Chalia whispers softly. Leon, the system panel pops up showing. System replaying memories of that day. Through the perspective of Leon Fraser, a young Leon speaks to Rison. Rison, why don't we have pink hair? Rison only says softly, Leon. His voice is hoarse, filled with both sorrow and anger, laden with complex and chaotic emotions. If our hair were also pink, would Mother have taken us with her? Chalia sits silently, listening to Leon talk about the past. Leon is telling her a story she has never known before, that Chalia's mother fled in the middle of the night, taking only Chalia with her while leaving the two brothers behind in the Fraser territory. She clenches her fists, thinking, I had absolutely no idea about this, so that is why Leon always acts so harsh toward Chalia. This feeling is strange. Unlike when she heard grandfather's story, she can directly feel Leon's emotions, betrayal, jealousy, resentment, pain, and loneliness. Perhaps the feelings of Leon are just like hers in her past life, wanting to blame someone, but there is no one around to blame, and so he points his arrow in the wrong direction, even if that is not how he truly feels. Leon suddenly speaks, I am sorry. His words startle Chalia and she blurts out in surprise, did you just? Leon repeats, I said I am sorry, it is not your fault, yet I took it all out on you. I am a terrible older brother. She is taken aback and softly calls his name, Leon. He continues, even if you do not forgive me, I understand, I just. Chalia says gently, I understand, Leon. Her words leave him. Stunned, he asks back, what? Chalia says in a gentle voice, I said I understand your feelings, so you do not need to explain anymore. Hearing just this much is enough. To put my mind at ease. She smiles a satisfied, happy smile. Leon looks at her expression in astonishment, speechless. He says hesitantly, whatever you want. Chalia teases, but I will accept that apology. Leon screams like a ruffled cat, that is enough. System notification panel pops up. System, playback of that day's memories has ended. Leon's favorability has reached 80%. Chalia suddenly remembers. Rison and asks Leon, right, speaking of which, where is Rison? Leon recalls and tells Chalia. When we arrived at the Fraser territory, Rison looked at me and the Crown Prince with a cold face and asked darkly, who did this to you too? Leon whispers, he was extremely angry back then. Chalia gasps in surprise. Rison, Leon continues. As soon as he found out it was caused by Boat, Tedric, and Kay, he immediately reported it to grandfather. She asks him with a bit of worry, what did grandfather say? Leon says to her, what else? Grandfather said he will conscript those 3 brats into the army immediately. For the next few years, they can forget about setting foot in the capital. Chalia freezes, thinking helplessly, that sounds satisfying, but the Frasers really have strong personalities, both Rison and grandfather. He continues, well, in my opinion, that is still not enough punishment, but since the Crown Prince is personally deploying to the north, they will have a miserable time. She is taken aback by his words and asks, the Crown Prince is going to war, Leon says in irritation. That is what I heard. Do not ask me any more, I do not know the details. She looks at his sulking form in confusion. Why is he suddenly so grumpy? Did something happen while I was unconscious? Anyway, I must thank him. She stands up and says softly, then I will go greet the Crown Prince. Leon looks at her in confusion and asks suspiciously, what, why go all of a sudden? Chalia replies innocently, he helped me and even saved my life, at least. I should go see him. He looks at her with a serious face, saying nothing. Then Leon speaks. Up, Chalia. She turns her head to look at him, slightly puzzled. Leon looks at her and warns seriously, regarding the Crown Prince, be careful around him. She is a bit confused and startled by his words, but she accepts it anyway. All right. Chalia wonders why Leon would say such strange things. The sky gradually turns dark, draping the mansion in the warm light of the late afternoon. She strolls down the corridor thinking, whatever it is best, to just meet him in person and talk. Chalia, wearing a luxurious and elegant new dress, takes slow steps. As she walks, she thinks, could seeing him more often really hurt me? Found him. He is over there. What is he doing alone? Is he injured? As it turns out, Ferdinand was also injured in the forest. But it is strange. Since Ferdinand possesses the trait of excessive divine power, his wounds should have healed immediately. Then she watches in astonishment as his injured hand gradually heals. The back of his hand, once wounded, is now completely restored to normal. Chalia thinks as if making a new discovery. It really is. Healing, suddenly a voice breaks the current atmosphere, startling Chalia. Are you all right, Your Highness? She bows to him. Chalia Fraser greets Your Highness, the Crown Prince. Thanks to you, we returned safely. Ferdinand speaks up. Just a moment ago, you fainted because of a pack of wild dogs, yet now you are not surprised to see my wound heal so quickly. Chalia quickly replies, I apologize for putting you in danger, but how could a pack of wild dogs possibly compare to your highness, the crown prince? His eyes flash with scrutiny. He remains silent, looking at her without saying a word. Then Ferdinand asks, what did you come to see me for? Chalia replies respectfully, I only came to express my gratitude. He asks back in confusion, gratitude? She bows her head and says softly, yes, because you saved us from the wild dogs and handled the matter caused by my cousins. Chalia looks at him thinking, this has absolutely nothing to do with favorability. It is truly what I want to say. If Ferdinand had not appeared then, I might have really died. Of course, if this helps improve our relationship, that is even better. But Ferdinand steps closer to her and speaks. Other than those things, is there anything else you wish to thank me for? Chalia is startled and steps back slightly, thinking he is getting too close. She replies hesitantly, what do you mean, your highness? He says calmly, when you fell unconscious in the forest, I carried you on my back. Hearing those words, Chalia freezes as if struck by lightning. She gasps, what? He continues, I called out to you, but you did not wake up, and since your brother was injured, I had to carry you on my back all the way back to the Grand Duchy. Chalia's face flushes hot. She stammers, Did that really happen? Ferdinand says softly, if that made you uncomfortable, I apologize. The situation was urgent, so I could not ask for permission. Chalia quickly says, no, not at all. It is just that I am so embarrassed. Ferdinand raises his hand, signaling the number 3, and says, if it does not bother you, then that is 3. You currently owe me 3 favors, even though this is only the second time we have met. She thinks in confusion. Wait, then what the crown prince wants to say now is? Ferdinand speaks. Lady Chalia, there is something I want you to do for me. Ferdinand suddenly steps closer to Chalia. There is something I want you to do for me. Wait, she suddenly realizes. Isn't that the handkerchief I gave him before? This is slightly different from what she imagined. Now she suddenly feels embarrassed. I do not mind. Your highness does not need to return it to me. But he raises his voice. What are you talking about? Chalia flinches. Wait, is it not that? Then Ferdinand must be surprised too. Since you gave me that handkerchief, my chronic illness has eased. She freezes right where she stands. His Highness's illness, divine power overload, the disease Ferdinand suffers from, terrible headaches with no cure accompanied by an abnormal healing ability. His symptoms were supposed to only improve gradually after Koriko appeared. So why did her handkerchief have an effect? He looks a bit puzzled. However, the effect gradually fades over time. Do you know why? Of course, Chalia must quickly deny it. No, your highness, I have absolutely no idea. Ferdinand falls into deep thought, and only after a while does he dare to say, in that case, could you give me some of your personal items? Chalia pauses for a few seconds. My belongings? Ferdinand has no special requirements. It does not matter what it is as long as it is something you have used. Just give them to me regularly. Even items that are useless to you are fine. I do not care if it is expensive or cheap. Hairpins, handkerchiefs, combs, mirrors. I only want to keep them with me. That is something you can do for me. Can you grant this request of mine? Chalia seems frozen. To be honest, she does not understand what is happening anymore. But he is the most important character to reach the ending. Ferdinand himself took the initiative to approach her. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She quickly takes off her hairpin. Chalia gently places it in his palm. I may not fully understand the situation, but if a small item of mine can help your highness, then I am willing to offer it to you. Furthermore, after all, I already owe you a debt of gratitude. Ferdinand cannot hide his surprise. He leaves happily. I thank you. Then I shall see you at the banquet. She looks around at her surroundings. Seeing it in person is much more magnificent than in the game illustrations. Naturally, since this is grandfather's birthday banquet, suddenly someone calls her name, Lady Chalia. Odal runs breathlessly after Chalia. I am deeply sorry. I should not have left my post. She recognizes her maid. Odal, she hastily begs, please do not forgive me for not being by your side to care for you. Chalia is annoyed but cannot do anything about it. I am fine. Stand up. Odal is extremely worried. I never expected such a tragedy to occur while I was away. She reassures her, "It is fine. It is not your fault, Odal. Besides, I am actually relieved that you are not in that dangerous place." Odal is slightly stunned. "My lady. From now on, I will always stay by your side to protect you. No matter what danger comes, I will be the first to stand forward." Chalia does not know where to hide her face in embarrassment. "Thank you, but I am really fine. Let us put that aside for now. I should start my quest. System, subquest has been activated. System, subquest has been activated. System, objective, become the Lord of the Banquet by dancing with Risson Fraser and Leon Fraser at the upcoming party. Completion reward, unknown. Failure penalty, minus 10,000 EXP. I have increased. The favorability of Lion and Leon is already quite high. She decides to complete this quest in one go and claim the reward. She is also utterly helpless, right? I should have known that with my bad luck, nothing would go smoothly, but this level of popularity is a bit too much. Noble ladies from all over the continent surround the twin brothers. In this situation, I can't even get close to them. Just now, I gather all my courage to try and strike up a conversation, but those noble ladies push me away, resulting in a miserable failure. Chalia can only watch from afar. Leon, Lion, a silent scream in the void. What's more, every time I try to call out to them, those noble ladies glare at me so fiercely that I don't even dare to call out anymore. Chalia feels bewildered. Could they be this hostile just because she is Chalia? How absurd. Those who were friendly back when she was Koriko are now acting utterly shameless. Should I just sweep this crowd away? Someone is walking on the red carpet. It seems Chalia recognizes the identity of the guest. She thinks to herself, Ferdinand is here too. The crown prince has arrived. And the nobles begin to whisper, aren't the royal family and Grand Duke Frazier at odds with each other? Indeed, I wonder for what reason he is attending this birthday party? No, more importantly, just like the rumors say, he is like a monster. The closer you get, the more you feel a strange pressure. It's terrifying. Everyone dares not approach Ferdinand. Chalia is not very surprised. It seems the rumors about Ferdinand are still far from good. He looks straight ahead. Ferdinand has just reached out his hand. My lady, someone is calling you. Chalia. Ryan runs over to greet her. You are here, excuse me, let me through. She turns her head. Stepping up, he kindly asks, you look beautiful today. Is your body all right? Chalia smiles and replies, you flatter me too much, don't be silly. Ryan is much more handsome than me and my body is fine, I'm not seriously injured. Seems not to believe her. Is that so? Chalia, in that case, can you dance with me? I have always wanted to dance with my lovely little sister at least once. Ferdinand still stands as still as a statue. Ryan glares at him triumphantly. Ferdinand remains silent. Ryan and Ferdinand stare at each other. Chalia notices something unusual. Huh, Leon, what are you staring at so intently? He quickly changes the subject. It's nothing. Why don't we go over there to talk? She feels doubtful. Huh, in that moment the atmosphere around Leon is so strange. Maybe it's just my imagination. Before she can think further, Aziz steps up to give the opening speech. Although today's banquet is held to celebrate my birthday, the true hosts are all of you. I hope you all, who have come here to grace this banquet, will set aside your worries and enjoy the feast. Melodious sound of the violin plays. Wine is served to the nobles. Ryan continues to chat with her. The banquet has officially begun. Shall we go out and dance a little too? Chalia slightly tilts her head and smiles. Yes, she can't help but feel worried. But are you really okay with this, even if you dance with me? I am extremely reassured. Huh. Why wouldn't it be okay? I'm dancing with my own little sister, who would dare say anything, so don't worry too much. No matter what anyone says, you are still my little sister. Chalia's face turns red from embarrassment. Even though dancing with Ryan for the first time is for a quest, being together like this is actually quite fun. Indeed, seeing how kind Leon is, I'm reminded of Chalipia in the game. Chalipia, who always lived all alone. Could it be that, as an older brother, he had wanted to approach her first? It was just Chalipia's angry outbursts from feeling wronged that probably made Leon unable to get close if their relationship hadn't been so strained. Perhaps their sibling bond would have been very special. She suddenly panics. She has zoned out completely. I'm sorry, Leon, does it hurt a lot? He still gently reassures her. It's fine, really, don't worry too much. Let's try again from the beginning. Chalia finally calms down. Yes, she didn't expect to keep making mistakes, but since then, because she is so clumsy, She keeps stepping on his feet. I'm sorry, Leon, I keep stepping on your feet. Let's stop dancing. Ryan fiercely defends her. It's all right, Chalia. It's been a long time since you danced at a banquet. I understand. Let's try one more time. I can't stand this anymore. Leon suddenly appears. What on earth are you two doing? Someone immediately recognizes him. Lion, he is fuming with anger. Are you trying to paralyze the top of his feet? Chalia is extremely flustered. No, I didn't mean to. Who would have thought Lion would suddenly change his attitude? Be quiet and take my hand. This catches her completely by surprise. Leon wants to teach her personally. He can't stand the sight of the two of them dancing like that anymore, so he takes her hand to change partners. Ryan acts magnanimous. Sure, brother, I don't mind. Go ahead and try dancing with Lion. I can't keep our lovely little sister all to myself forever. He looks a bit displeased. Lovely, my foot, Chalia calls out to her. Two older brothers, Leon, Lion, the subquest that seemed hopeless has gone smoothly thanks to the active cooperation of the twins. Could this very moment be the first time since I entered this game that I can truly relax my soul and enjoy the present? Even if only for a brief moment, it is a time so happy that I almost believe I have truly become Chalia. The system. System, subquest, Lord of the Banquet completed. Success reward will be. Granted, success reward, 2000 EXP exclusive. Privilege, Master of Life, view description. A man overshadowed by the guests, Benjamin quietly watches Chalia this entire time. He is not very happy. Lady Chalia, your relationship with your brothers is truly good. Compared to Chalia, a call startles him. Benjamin, a haughty blonde guy, yells loudly. What are you doing over there? Weren't you having fun playing with us? Benjamin does not dare to resist. I'm coming. I'm coming now. Chalia steps on Leon's shoes. He gradually loses his patience. You are out of beat with me. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? The rhythm is different, but you keep arguing. No, it's completely a coincidence. Before Chalia can finish her sentence, someone interrupts. If you had led well from the beginning, the lady wouldn't have had to struggle like this. She feels a sense of familiarity. This voice belongs to Ferdinand. Ferdinand speaks up to defend Chalia. It seems she is having trouble dancing. How about now? Leaving the lady to me? Leon is quite flustered. Your Highness does not seem interested in dancing. Please do not concern yourself with us and instead do something else. He completely ignores Lion. No, I know how to dance too. Since things have come to this, I should speak more formally. Lady Chalia, would you like to dance with me? She has no time to understand what is happening. Dance with me? What is the meaning of this? What does this mean? Thank you for watching today's video. Our story still continues with many exciting developments ahead. Therefore, don't forget to like and subscribe to support us and not miss the latest episodes. Wish you all relaxing and happy moments. See you in the next video. Thank you for